Class A CDL drivers, $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
I absolutely love my dog, but the constant shedding, not so much. But then I got a Swiffer Sweeper pet kit, and it is amazing. These super thick cloths pick up a crazy amount of hair. Just look at all that. And that was from just one swipe. And the best part, Sweeper's so much easier to maneuver than a broom or a vacuum, easily getting around chairs and under the couch. You're right. Now I can focus on you, not your shedding. Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, because shed happens.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We'll help you find everything you need to do the job right. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $28.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
We're live. We're local. What are you gonna miss? Strike 'em out. We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, everybody, welcome in. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Happy Friday. We are off and rolling. I'm excited for the weekend. And I want to open up with a little confession. The confession that I'm about to make is that I have never seen the movie Field of Dreams. Never seen the movie Field of Dreams. So I had no idea what all the hype was about. But I didn't have to see the movie Field of Dreams to know that what I saw last night was actually something that was very, very good for Major League Baseball, because the nostalgia of what we saw last night was unbelievable. Bottom line is whether you've seen the movie or not, and like the main reason I haven't watched, I'm not a big movie guy. I don't like watching old movies either. Like the one, like I don't like Hoosiers. I can't stand Hoosiers. I gave it like 10 minutes and I'm like, I can't do this. This is horrible. I think it's a horrible movie. I can't get into Hoosiers. I can't watch old movies. I just can't get into it. So, but to be honest, I've never really given Field of Dreams a chance. I've never given Field of Dreams a chance. But last, I forget whether you watched the movie or not. I think even people like me who haven't watched the movie, you tuned into the White Sox and the Yankees last night. It had a big game feel. Fox did a fantastic job putting that on. I don't know if it was all, I don't really know who is more responsible for what we saw last night between the White Sox and Yankees, if it was more Fox than MLB or more Major League Baseball than Fox. But I will say that was unlike anything I've seen from Major League Baseball in regards to being creative. That's the first time I've seen Major League Baseball do something that is right on par with what we see from the NFL, who is always trying to be one step ahead of the times and the trends. Same thing with the NBA. Whether you are one of those, I don't watch the NBA people or not, the NBA is always doing things that are trying to connect with a younger audience. Same thing with the NFL. But the difference is with Major League Baseball is this was kind of a move to connect with a younger audience, but kind of not. Like this move was done to generate headlines and to generate interest in the sport. But let's be clear, that movie, I'm 31 years old. That movie came out 31 years ago. Like, so if you're trying to get younger, maybe highlighting a movie from 30 plus years ago, that's not the plan. Now, again, I'm not ripping Major League Baseball at all. What I'm saying is I don't really know what the goal was for last night. I don't know who they were trying to target. But what I do feel like is baseball did something for the first time in a while where it attacked the nostalgia for all baseball fans. It's like they weren't really going for a younger audience. They were going for the fans that they've lost over the last 10 or 15 years. Like, that's what that reminded me of. I saw so many people on Facebook, social media, Twitter, across the board that had positive things to say about what they saw last night. And you know the rules of social media. You don't go to Facebook to say you like something. You don't go to Twitter to say you like something. You go to Twitter and Facebook to complain about the service at some crap restaurant you went to. You go to Twitter and Facebook to tell everyone how you think Kinner is the worst radio host in the world. That's what you use Twitter and Facebook for. So the fact that people broke the rules last night to tell everybody how great it was, that's how you know you did something right. That's how you know you did something right. And I applaud Major League Baseball, because for the longest time, I'm just like thinking, like, baseball is just, it's losing more than it's bringing in. There are more people tuning out of the sport than tuning into the sport. And it has nothing to do with, pace of play. And I'm not going to get into Kinner's greatest hits over here about why I think baseball is slumping. But last night was unique. It was different. The players got to have fun. They walked out of corn. They walked out of a cornfield. I mean, it was corny, but it worked. And I don't get it. I don't get how it worked. I don't get how I was just obsessed with it. I couldn't tune away. And then to cap it all off, the ending. Like, it's one thing to hype it up. Like, a lot of times all-star games get hyped up and then the game itself is garbage, right? Like the Pro Bowl, I'm not even going to get into the Pro Bowl, but like the NBA all-star game, what they did to kind of enhance that a little bit was they added the Elam ending, which I thought was genius. But the NBA is always thinking one step ahead. Let's add something that's going to attract a younger audience, and we will remain in that spotlight. For Major League Baseball, I don't really know who they were trying to target with this, but as I stated earlier, I felt like it was to target the fans that they have lost. But last night was just something different. It was fun. They were loose. They were enjoying themselves. We got to see the players have fun as well. And I think that that's where the younger audience connected. I don't know how many of the younger players. Last night, Brian Anderson wasn't even born when the movie came out. I'm older than Brian Anderson. Like, I'm at the age now where I'm like, I used to, like, when I would do this show when I first started years and years and years ago, I'm like, I'm close to pretty much the same age as most of these athletes. Now I'm starting to see these athletes come up, like in the NBA draft. And I'm like, for the first time, I watched the draft and I think they look like children. I think they look like they're 12. It's weird. As I'm getting older, I'm starting to notice oh man, I'm significantly older than these guys. And that's what's interesting about it. But last night, whether you knew the movie or not, familiar with the movie or not, Brian Anderson, who hits that, walk-off home run at the end, good for him. Good for Major League Baseball, good for the White Sox, good for everybody involved. Like, I haven't I'm not saying it's not out there, but I haven't come across anybody complaining. Do you have a complaint? Was there something you liked, or was there something you didn't like? You know me, I'm critical as hell. I find, I'd win I'm the kind of person that'll win the lottery and then bitch about having to pay taxes. That's who I am. I'm trying to get better. I really, really am. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, I really, for as flawed as Rob Manfred is in Major League Baseball, they hit it out of the park, no pun intended. But what brought it all together was that walk-off home run at the end. And to go back to my point I didn't finish earlier, a lot of times these games get hyped up. These types of moments get hyped up, but the game never lives up to the billing. It's to be honest with you, sometimes I'm not saying they don't care about how the games turn out, but a lot of times it's just about just get you there. Let's just get you there. Let's just get you into the movie. You know what I mean? Well, let's just get you into the movie theater. If this thing tanks, that's fine, but we at least got to try to get as many people into the movie theater at the very beginning, just to at least make something off of this, right? That's what this was. Field of Dreams. I'm not going to lie to you. Never watched the movie. I didn't have a whole lot of interest heading into this thing. I kept hearing people talk about it. The buzz was really kind of getting bigger and bigger as we got towards it. And then I tuned in last night, and then I just felt it. I love the old scoreboard. I love the fact that they had that dude, dressed in the olden times, right? The olden times, whatever the hell that means. But they dressed the part. He's climbing the ladder to put the score up there. And by the way, they made him work. 17 combined runs last night. That guy, of all the games to not have a low-scoring pitching duel, that poor guy was having to climb that ladder up and down all night to continuously change the score. But good for him, good for Major League Baseball, good for baseball fans in general. That was cool. The game lived up to the hype. Usually the game never matches the hype. Last night was that and then some. But here's where I'm going to turn left with this, because everyone's like right away, this is a mainstay. It has to stay. Field of Dreams has to stay, right? I actually, last night, watching that finish, I'm like, well, everyone else was saying, you got to do this every year. You got to do this every year. The way that went down last night, I don't do it again. I leave it alone. Maybe bring it back in a few years. Every once in a while, sprinkle it in. Let it be a draw. Let people look forward to it. I think if you right away say we're coming back, and by the way, it's going to come back next year. It was too successful not to. But my point is that last night went so well that I'm like, let that be like a secret weapon that you just drop every once in a while, mainly because I think that they're so fortunate that the game ended up surpassing the hype that I think it's going to be overhyped for next year. And then it'll be like a 7-2 game and not really a lot of excitement. It's like, you know what I mean? Like that's where I'm coming from with that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm curious. We have the phone lines open. Let's hear from you. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call in and give your thoughts on what you thought of the Field of Dreams game from last night. That was really cool. I mean, like I said, I'm a negative person. I like to complain. I don't try to do it. I don't purposely do it. It's just how I'm wired. I'm wired wrong. It's okay. But I couldn't find anything to complain about. It was awesome. It was amazing. There was I literally was like, man, I'm hooked on everything. And the Yankees too, like the star power was there. You know, you had Giancarlo Stanton, you had Aaron Judge, and you had like big home runs. And I just thought it was so cool because of this sounds funny, the corn, right? The cornfield. The fact that the walk-off home run, the camera caught it perfect. Usually we're used to following the ball go out of the ballpark into a sea of fans. It was a sea, an ocean of corn. And that was like the perfect way. As he's running the bases, as Brian Anderson's running the bases, the fireworks are going off. The crowd is going insane. Buck did an awesome job calling the game. I know people don't like to compliment him, but what he did was perfect as well, because when the ball left the ballpark or whatever you want to call it, when it entered the cornfield, it was so cool because he didn't say a word for the long. He let the crowd and he let the imagery do the talking. He let that tell the story, which is what you were supposed to do. He nailed it. Brian Anderson nailed it. Major League Baseball nailed it. The Yankees and White Sox nailed it. How cool was that? You're listening to the Justin Kinner Show live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We'll open up the phone lines. 518-1410. Field of Dreams was awesome, and I want to see it again. But I don't want to see it right away. I thought last night was so perfect that I almost don't want to see it back next year with the fear of so much hype and so much excitement for it that it ends up not living up to this one, right? And what I mean by this is let it breathe a little bit. Maybe bring it back the following year. That's not how it's going to work. I know it. But do you see where I'm coming from with that? Because last night that game could have ended. I mean, it was 7-4, 7-3 or whatever it was. It really wasn't about the game itself. It was just kind of blah. And then all of a sudden, that amazing comeback. You know, let's say the Yankees don't come back, or was last night a success? I guess that's the big question I have. Was last night a success because of the finish, or was it a home run with or without the finish? That's what I want to know. 518-1410, or you can catch us live on Facebook and YouTube. The Justin Kinner Show on Facebook, and then ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. That was cool. That was so cool last night. But was it cool because of the finish, or was it cool because of the nostalgia from beginning to end? And had it not finished like that, had the ending been 7-4, and had there been no miracle comeback? I mean, by the way, 4 runs all came in. The 4 runs that the Yankees put up on the board were all with 2 outs. I mean, it was a playoff type atmosphere and feel. If that finish doesn't happen, are we drooling over Field of Dreams today the way we have been? Or was it the Hollywood ending? I got so nauseated hearing that all day today. Was it the Hollywood ending that made Field of Dreams what it was? Or was it the nostalgia of it? Because I have a feeling that if the game didn't end with the dramatics like it did, I don't know how much we're talking about it today. Or am I wrong? Been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. Am I wrong now? 518-1410. It's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Orion Sports Medicine. We'll be back in just a moment.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Goodyear believes in the power of moving forward. No matter if it's on the track, the court, or the field, movement makes us want to be more. It pushes us to go further, to show the world what we can do. Movement has the unique ability to change our perspective, to challenge us, to work for a better tomorrow. Movement can even bring us together when we're still. Because if we're focused on the next move, we don't have to worry about what's behind us. Goodyear, more driven.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-990-6271 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-990-6271 for as little as only $119 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-990-6271 and ask about our express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on the little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-990-6271 now. That's 800-990-6271.
You may have heard that Allstate has new low auto rates, but isn't it time to see for yourself? Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
O'Reilly. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will help with all your car care needs. Whether you're shopping for parts, accessories, or supplies, we've got you covered. Right now, get Superior Cover-All Tire Shine 2 for $16. Plus, earn double O-Rewards points. Keep your car looking like new. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's something special about a sit-down family meal together. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, we couldn't agree more. That's why we're making it easy with our 8-piece family meal for only $22.99. Enjoy a classic family meal without the hassle. It includes 8 mixed pieces of Famous Recipe Chicken, 2 large sides, and 4 fluffy biscuits. At Lee's, making your family's meal special is what we do best. Get a home-style meal made easy with our 8-piece family meal for only $22.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
What's up? This is Riley. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Chicken Club sandwich is the applewood bacon. It's savory and then it's also kind of sweet. And I think the combination of bacon with chicken and Colby Jack cheese, it just really knocks it out of the park.
Hey, I'm Tanea. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Chicken Club sandwich is the chicken. It's so juicy. It's grilled to perfection. I'm going to devour this sandwich.
Order the Grilled Chicken Club sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. HIMS was our answer. HIMS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He got medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price of the name brand, delivered right to our door. Thanks to HIMS, we got our intimacy and our marriage back.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit free when you go to forhims.com/joy. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
Buying a car on the internet, this is for you.
Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. If you're buying a car online, here are a few easy steps to keep yourself safe. Just remember CAR. C, contact the seller to confirm their identity. A, assignment, a title free and clear of liens and properly assigned. R, research. Find a way to pay for the car by using a secure method where you can dispute the charge in case of fraud. Call us at 225-4480.
Brought to you by Montgomery County Clerk of Courts, Mike Foley.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Don't miss the ESPN Dayton Glacier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week every Friday night, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and Justin Kinner will have the call all season long. Check out wingam.com for the complete schedule and to stream the games live.
That's right. You just heard it there. Another season of high school football every Friday night right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. It's the ESPN Dayton Glacier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and myself every Friday night bringing you one of the biggest matchups in the Miami Valley. Week 1 will feature the Fairfield Indians at the Centerville Elks. We are very excited about that. In fact, speaking of Centerville, just earlier this week, we had former Centerville Elk and former Buckeye Kirk Herbstreit on, and he talked about his new book coming out, as well as this quarterback battle situation in Columbus at Ohio State, and also shared some memories of his time playing for the Centerville Elks way back in the day. So we'll have some of that coming up for you later on in the show, but I'm really excited about bringing you another season of our ESPN Dayton Glacier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week. Week 1 features the Fairfield Indians at the Centerville Elks. All right, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Orion Sports Medicine. The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. It's just the Justin Kinner Show this week as Kev Nash out on vacation, taking some time off because next week when he returns, we're buckling up and we are here for the home stretch, right? Like it's football season. High school kicks off next week, 2 weeks away. Ohio State kicks off. We're just under a month away from a real football in the NFL, right? Preseason last night. We'll get into some of that. Look, I don't care about preseason results. My favorite thing is just getting a chance to see some of the new faces out on the field, right? Like we got to see Dwayne Haskins, although not new. He looked pretty solid for Pittsburgh last night. Want to talk about that. I'm pulling for Dwayne Haskins. I'm pulling for a lot of Buckeyes, but it's, if Ryan Day and Urban Meyer, they've teamed up to put a lot of Buckeyes in the NFL. You love these guys on Saturdays, but depending on the team, your team, and depending on which team they play for, you love them on Saturdays, but you kind of hate them on Sundays, right? Like, I like Dwayne Haskins. I feel like I'm going to learn to dislike Dwayne Haskins if he actually does keep improving to be the replacement for Ben Roethlisberger, right? Like, we'll talk about all that coming up. So, last night's Field of Dreams game between the White Sox and the Yankees, it ended in, I hate saying this, the Hollywood ending, right? Like I was nauseated. I'm like, a drinking game last night, a perfect drinking game would have been for every time somebody says Hollywood ending, couldn't have scripted it any better. But like, really, that's the only way to describe this. Like that's what last night was. Like it was unreal. Never seen anything like it. That was so cool. Good for baseball. Now I threw out a couple questions. For one, who was baseball trying to target last night? Because I was listening to Colin and some other shows throughout the day, and they were emphasizing how this was a cool and hip thing to do. I believe it was cool. I don't know how hip it was, mainly because who were they trying to target? I'm 31 years old. This movie's been, I believe it came out in 89 or 90, if I'm not mistaken. It's been out for a long time. Brian Anderson, who hit the walk-off home run for the White Sox last night to win 9-8 over the Yankees, hit it right into the cornfield. He wasn't even born when the movie came out. So, by the way, I'm not criticizing Major League Baseball on this, but it's just one of those things where I think they're getting credit where they shouldn't. They shouldn't get credit for trying to be young and hip. I agree with Shaw. I saw David Shaw's comments over here on Facebook when he said no, it was the older crowd. It was for the nostalgia. Can you sense nostalgia if you haven't lived through that? That's what was so unique about last night. I don't think they were trying to target a young audience. I think baseball right now is trying to salvage its relationship with a lot of the audience that it's lost. And I think last night was a step in the right direction in that. It was cool getting on social media last night, and it wasn't about masks. It wasn't about vaccines. It wasn't about COVID. It wasn't about 45. It wasn't about the guy in the office right now. It wasn't about, work policies making you. It was just about them damn Yankees. Hate the Yankees. Oh, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. It was like I felt nostalgia on social media where I could scroll and scroll and scroll, and it wasn't any politics. It was just, I hate the Yankees. Happy to see the Yankees lose. Like, it was kind of refreshing, to be honest with you. So there's that. A lot of nostalgia last night for that. But no, I don't think it was trying to target a young audience, but I do think that it caught the young audience's attention with the creativity. You don't have to know the movie that they were trying to really kind of partner with on that to sense that. Like last night, I sensed something different in baseball. Like they were stepping out of their, not comfort zone, but what they're like, they're stepping out of their comfort zone. And that's what that was last night. Really cool. I haven't seen Field of Dreams. I'm going to watch it, by the way. I'm a huge Kevin Costner fan, by the way. So I'm going to watch it. By the way, how about that? That was so cool. The production, the everything of it last night. Having him walk out of the corn and just setting up the scene for the movie, and then all of a sudden turning back, and then there's the players walking out. I mean, getting goosebumps now thinking about it. Watching it live was so unique, so special, so cool. But if Mr. Dutton could get back to work, that'd be great, because Yellowstone needs to get out. Well, I mean, we should not be seeing Kevin Costner roaming around the outfield in Iowa. He needs to be making sure that Yellowstone gets. I've waited long enough, okay? I'm having Yellowstone withdrawals. For those of you who haven't seen that show, I highly suggest you do. If you're a Kevin Costner fan, go out, watch Yellowstone. It's fantastic. Kevin Costner's a badass. Here's what. I'm going to watch Field of Dreams, and I don't think I'm going to like it. But if I do like it, it will be because of him and him only. He's one of the few actors I know that could take any bad movie and make it watchable. Draft Day, ring a bell? Right? That was such a horrible movie. But he had me hooked the whole time. Like, I was like, I only watched it because like he kept me watching it. I'm like, this is very weird. This is not the acting's not that great. He was the only thing that was great about it. But that was really cool last night. The round of applause to Major League Baseball. We don't say that too often. Last thing on that, like I said earlier, social media is not meant to say nice things. It's not meant to leave positive reviews. It's not meant to compliment people. It's not meant to uplift people. It is there to tell people how dumb they are, to tell restaurants how horrible their food is and how horrible their service is, and to tell Kinner how horrible of a radio host he is. And last night, there was none of that. It was really cool, I think, across the board. In fact, if you could find me somebody who did not like last night, I'll be very amazed. It was one of the few nights in sports where I felt everyone was agreed on something, that last night was amazing. Kudos to Major League Baseball. I just don't know if last night was great because of the more so the finish or the nostalgia. At some point, the nostalgia kind of runs out a bit. So at a certain point last night, people had to start checking out. And then at a certain point with 2 outs and the White Sox looked like they were about to close it out for the win, which they did get the win ultimately, but the Yankees put up 4 runs with 2 outs to take an 8-7 lead before ultimately losing 9-8 with the walk-off for the White Sox. I think the ending is really what has made everyone so into what we saw last night. Because I think if that game ends 7-4 or 8-4, whatever it was 7-4. So if that game would have ended at 7-4, I don't know if every show is opening up with that today. I don't know if I even open up with it today. I think if the final score was 7-4 and there was no late game heroics, I would have said, man, that was a pretty cool scene last night. Field of Dreams, players walking out of the corn. Kevin Costner was there. Cool. 7-4 your final. Yankees lose. We would have moved on. But the first 30 minutes of the show has been dedicated to the last night's game, and it's all because of the finish. The finish complemented the build-up, and it complemented the nostalgia. I just think the nostalgia had started to run out a little bit, and then when we got to see the walk-off home run, ball goes into the corn, fireworks going off, so cool. Only 7,000 fans there. Felt like Great American Ballpark back in the day, right? There you go. All right, speaking of the Cincinnati Reds will be in action coming up later on tonight. They were able to get a big win yesterday, and not just a big win. Any win is big at this point when you're fighting for your playoff lives, but it was a big win last night, mainly because they blew the Braves out. They took care of business. Now, regardless of how they do it, I don't care if they win 1-0, 12-0, or 12-2, or whatever the final score was. A win's a win, but they got to now turn their focus to Philly. They got to find a way to get back to Great American Ballpark with some momentum. They cannot screw around right now. They won last night. So did the Brewers. The Brewers have a series with the Pirates and the Cubs coming up. So it's just, the Brewers are going to keep winning, and the Reds have to make sure that they keep winning just to stay even with the Brewers, or at least stay 8 games back without continuing to drop. I mean, I'm amazed right now that we're even talking about the Reds having to fight it out for the wild card. I mean, I didn't think that was going to be the more realistic path for them, but that sounds like what it's going to be. We shall see. All right, to the Facebook feed we go. Again, we're live on Facebook. By the way, Bengals fans, while I have you here, it's Friday the 13th. I can't believe I'm sharing this story, but oh well. I got my coffee today, pulled out a Dunkin', got my coffee. Car pulls up next to me. There's 4 guys in this car. And I'm minding my own business. Okay, I'm a nice guy. I'm only a jerk really 3 to 6 and whatever time I'm on social media. Outside of that, I'm a pretty nice guy. Minding my own business. I look over. These 2 guys are like waving at me to roll my window down. So I roll the window down. I'm like, yeah. Like, you're Kinner from the radio. I'm like, I don't know how you know who I am. Sure. Yeah. Oh, cool. I knew it. They didn't say anything else to me after that. They just kept going amongst themselves. Now, I'm not going to lie. I know I'm a nobody. I know that this is a very small station. I know that this show doesn't really reach out more than a couple of blocks, and I appreciate the listeners that I do have. You guys are very loyal, even the ones that dislike me. These guys disliked me a little bit more than you do, though. We pull up, drive through, get to the next light. Still, I'm turning my radio on at this point. I'm listening to music. I'm minding my own damn business. All of a sudden, I look over. It's the same car again. So I'm going to roll the window down. I roll the window down. Right as the light turns green, this jerk in the back takes his ice cream cone, throws it at my car, yells "Who Day," and drives the hell off. Now, I want to be mad, and I am mad, and I hate Bengals fans even more now, but it was my fault. There's only so much I could push you guys. There's only so far I can go with you guys before I start getting ice cream cones thrown at me in traffic. What a day. Friday the 13th. And then I go and I get a fresh haircut today. And I'm sitting there getting my hair cut. This lady walks in and she sits down. The lady at the front says, "Hi, ma'am, I need you to check in." She goes, "Oh, no, I'm not interested in a haircut." I don't know what the hell are you doing. The lady goes, "Well, what do you need then?" She goes, "Oh, nothing. I'm fascinated watching people cut hair." Everyone's silent. It's the most awkward thing in the world. I'm like, this day sucks. This is the weirdest day. I have one lady who's just sitting there awkwardly eating her Fritos, watching everyone get their hair cut. I leave to go get my coffee. I get an ice cream cone thrown at me, some Yahoo yelling "Who Day." I really think that there's only select people who know who I am. And I think it's one of you watching right now. There's not that many people that tune in that know what I look like. It has to be, if I had to guess, it was probably either Doug Toby, probably Shaw, but I don't know if Shaw, Brian Hetzel. I think I've ticked him off a pretty good amount to do it at this point. I'm just looking at the guys in the chat section. Someone threw an ice cream cone at me today because I'm a Browns fan. They yelled "Who Day." That was that's where I went from being mad about the cone hitting my car to when he drove off and yelled "Who Day." I'm like, oh, that was pretty good. That was at least, I thought of the episode of The Office when Dwight takes the milkshake and yells "Fire in the hole" and he throws it into the, that's what I thought of. What a mess. And it's my fault. So I'm going to take it back a little bit. But we'll talk Bengals coming up, top of the hour, 4 o'clock. James Rapine with Sports Illustrated. Bengals off today as they prepare for their first preseason game tomorrow. Which we'll talk about that coming up around the corner. It's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Orion Sports Medicine. To the Facebook feed we go. Doug Toby says, "Let the little town in Iowa make some money. You know you're from Van Wert, Ohio." So what that, I'm assuming that comment from Doug Toby is about is earlier I said that last night's Field of Dreams game was so perfect. From beginning to finish, the build-up, the start of it, the presentation, Kevin Costner coming out and doing the whole setup and the players walking out of the cornfield. Then the game itself was fantastic. It was, 7-4, 4 runs for the Yankees in the top of the ninth, all coming with 2 outs. And then, of course, it set up the Brian Anderson walk-off win in the bottom of the ninth. Ball goes into the cornfield, fireworks going off, the crowd going crazy. I felt like I just watched Game 7 of a World Series end with the walk-off. It was fantastic. It was the best baseball game I have watched. I can't tell you the last time I watched a game that had me feeling all up in feelings. It was really special, really cool. I said earlier, don't do it again. Don't do Field of Dreams again next year. Let it breathe. Let it rest a little bit because it won't have the same effect. Folks, I'm telling you, Field of Dreams next year will not have the same impact. It will not have the same effect. Is Kevin Costner going to come out again and do the same little walkthrough? Are the players going to emerge through the corn again? It's not going to be the same. Think about the series of emotions that you went through last night watching that game. Think about it. Kevin Costner coming out was badass. The nostalgia of the movie, and there he is right there, right? That was so cool. The nostalgia of watching the players walk out from the corn the first time you're seeing it. We saw it in the commercials and the promos, the build-up to it. But when we see it again next year, if Costner does that again, it's not, oh man, this is cool. It's, oh, okay, he's doing the same thing where he's wandering around again. Okay, cool. Oh, here's the players. Okay, there's that ruins the element of surprise right there. And then the game will probably end in a 5-2, 5-1 game, and it won't be exciting. And I'm telling you, there is no way. That was so perfect. It almost hurt baseball how perfect it was because it was so perfect that I don't think you could do it again because you will risk letting people down. That was so great last night that there is no way that in next year, if they do it again next year, there is no way that the nostalgia, that the emotion, that the feelings, that the excitement that came with last night, that will not be replicated. So that was my whole point earlier about I don't want to see it again because I think it was so perfect that there's no chance in hell that it will even be matched next year. I don't care if it goes to 12 innings and it's another walk-off win in the bottom. You have to think about the total buildup, the total, everything under the umbrella of what last night was. I think it would be a mistake to bring it back next year because I think, everyone's so jacked up about what we just saw that I think baseball just needs to count their winnings and move on and learn from being creative and learn from stepping outside of their comfort zone and learn from stepping out of the status quo. Have fun. Let that be the lesson that baseball learned here, because I don't see what another game like this does. Because although it looks cool and it looks unique, it only was special because it was the first time we've seen it. There was the element of surprise, the players walking out of the corner. Like, we didn't know that there was going to be this special presentation before. We didn't know that they were going to do the WWE theatrics with the entrances and everything. Like, if it was just like any other game, the PA guy would announce the starting lineups and the positions, and then off we go. So next year, if they do the walking out of the corn thing, it's just, oh yeah, we knew that was coming. Oh, look, there's Kevin Costner. Well, watched it on TV last year. I get to see it live this year. I guess that's cool. Oh, wow, this game is boring. You know what? It's the 6th inning, and it's already 7-0. Might as well just go home. I loved last night. I'm not being Mr. Negative. All I'm saying is people keep acting like if they do it again next year, that the Field of Dreams game 2.0, it's going to let you down. It will fail next year. It will not be as cool. It will not be as special. Convince me I'm wrong. So that's what I meant by that. That's why Doug was saying, let Iowa have their money. And there you go. Nick says, now you know that was not a true Bengals fan. We wouldn't waste the ice cream that was thrown at me. So there you go. All right, folks, it's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Field of Dreams was amazing. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. You can't, unless you can replicate it and bring back the same type of performance. It's not worth doing. It's not worth doing. I will be let down as a fan. And by the way, the Reds should have been in that game last night. Actually, I'm glad that they weren't, to be honest with you, because that game was so perfect. You don't want to ruin it with that. But I'm just saying, like, I think it was Mo Egger that said, I think it was Ross that might have let it slip that the Cubs have already been told that they're going to be in the game next year, which, by the way, why did you wait till the Cubs blew up their roster before you decided to put them in it? Again, I don't know if this is true or not. This was just a tweet I saw from Mo Egger. And then Mo said he went and looked at the Cubs schedule for next year, that if they held it to the same date, if they did, August 12th or what have you, that the Cubs and the Reds are playing. Could it be the Cubs and the Reds in the Field of Dreams? That sounds like Field of Nightmares. The Cubs are horrible. That roster's horrible. And I don't trust what the Reds ownership is going to do. Okay, so Nick says he's hearing Yankees versus the Cubs. Even then, the Cubs have nostalgia feels to them at Wrigley, but a rebuilding bad Cubs team, like, it's not like it's, if it was this Yankees team against the Cubs roster from even the first half of the season, I think you could sell it with Rizzo and Chris Bryant and those guys. Now you can't. I just don't see why they, like I said, next year it'll be a dud. Don't do it. I'm not for Field of Dreams next season. We'll be back in a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Goodyear believes in the power of moving forward. No matter if it's on the track, the court, or the field, movement makes us want to be more. It pushes us to go further, to show the world what we can do. Movement has the unique ability to change our perspective, to challenge us, to work for a better tomorrow. Movement can even bring us together when we're still. Because if we're focused on the next move, we don't have to worry about what's behind us. Goodyear, more driven.
O'Reilly. Do you even remember the last time you changed your spark plugs? Well, then now's a good time. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase 4 or more select Iridium spark plugs. Put the pep back in your car. Visit your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Have you ever thought about having a podiatric physician examine your feet? Doctors of Podiatric Medicine are physicians. They set broken bones, perform wound care, treat corns, calluses, remove bunions, and can even perform total ankle replacements. Our physicians complete 3-year residencies in hospitals and train to manage your total foot and ankle health. Athletes with arch problems or tendon issues frequently seek out care from our physicians. Common health issues that podiatric physicians treat include ingrown or fungal nails, as well as warts and skin problems like athlete's foot. If you have ulcers or blisters, you should have that checked, and have your footwear checked too. Diabetics are especially prone to foot issues when they have neuropathy. Foot exams are easy and can prevent many foot problems. If you can't walk, work, or enjoy sports activities without pain, what are you waiting for? Visit associationsadvanceohio.com to find a podiatric physician who is a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association to help you, so you know that you are being treated by the very best.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to.
Don't miss the ESPN Dayton Glacier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week every Friday night, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and Justin Kinner will have the call all season long. Check out wingam.com for the complete schedule and to stream the games live.
All right, welcome back. Justin Kinner hanging out with you here on a Friday. James Rapine with Sports Illustrated covers the Cincinnati Bengals. He's going to be calling in and hanging out with us here in about 14 minutes. Bengals off today. They get set for their preseason game tomorrow against the Buccaneers. The Browns have the Jaguars, and we'll talk all things NFL more so coming up here in the next hour. Well, little news out of college football. Pac-12 reverts back to its standard policy. They say that a team must forfeit if unable to play due to COVID-19 cases. And again, every day something new changing for how each conference is going to kind of approach some of these, approach their policies with this. And again, we saw last year, it was not a united front. That's why everyone out there that thinks that someday that there's going to be this one league, that all these Power Fives are going to branch off and create their own league. That's not going to happen because there's just no way that all the commissioners of these conferences are going to cohesively work together. We saw it last year. They cannibalized one another in the conference that we know is the best conference in football, even though Ohio State fans don't want to admit it. The SEC cannibalized everybody else. The Big Ten tried to cannibalize itself. Luckily, thanks to Justin Fields and Ohio State and those guys, that wasn't the case. But it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. We've talked a lot about the Field of Dreams game. I'm telling you right now, it was so damn perfect. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Don't do it again. Don't bring it back next year. It will not be the same. You're not going to be able to replicate the same nostalgia. You're not going to be able to replicate the same feelings of excitement that people felt last night. People felt that excitement last night because it was the first time they had seen it. You're not going to see it. It was the first time they had seen it. If they see it again, the element of surprise won't be there anymore. What made last night special was the special production at the beginning. And I don't think you could do that. You can't do the same thing with Kevin Costner again. The players walking out of the cornfield next year won't feel the same. And I guarantee you won't have a walk-off home run, storybook ending to end it all. So leave it alone. If you're Major League Baseball, that is, tip your cap to that, man. Like that was special. I complained about baseball a lot. They mess a lot of things up. They didn't just, that was beyond an A+. Like, good for them. 518-1410, 518-1410. Let's go to Greg. Greg, I appreciate you holding. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What do you have for us today?
I want to talk about the Field of Dreams game.
Okay.
About 7-8 years ago, we were up in that area because my son got married up there.
Okay.
On a day trip the day before the wedding, we went over to the Field of Dreams. And you're able to go on there. It's like the church of baseball. And I think they captured that really well last night. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you that they shouldn't do it every year. But maybe since they've got the facility now to do that, things like when they find out, say, like when Joey Votto is going to retire, that year, put the Reds up there with somebody to play. And then the nostalgia part of it, could you see like the rest of the Hall of Famers of the Reds that would attend that game, Bench, Larkin, things like that, walking out of that cornfield before the game to show their appreciation for Votto? I think that's the kind of things that they need to do. And I agree with you, not every year, but wait for a special moment,
a special occasion. I mean, I give them credit. That was so well done. I mean, like I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like I just think about where you were when you saw that for the first time. Like we knew what the movie was. We knew that it was going to be a theme, but they went above and beyond embracing the theme of it. They did the theatrics at the beginning. It was so well done that I just think anything they do next year will not top this. And I feel like we're going to come away feeling disappointed next year if they do it again. I like your idea about, use that for special occasions, a special player retiring or something along those lines. But I'm with you, an all-star game, but I think they will never do that because you can't fit that many fans there. But
the only thing that I would change from last night was at the very beginning, the little guy sitting on the forklift with the piece of the fence that he had to put back. Uh-huh. They should have moved him off of the field somewhere.
You saw that
not
too.
In the
That's I agree with you because they did the pan shots of the field and you could see them hiding behind the piece. Yep.
But if that's all I've got to complain about, it was a great game, and I'm a Yankees fan too, and I still loved it. So
that was pretty cool. I saw Aaron Boone, by the way. Aaron Boone said that was probably one of the most special moments he's ever been a part of, and you could think back to his playing days. Even with the Yankees. How many special things he's been a part of with that walk-off win he was a part of, over a decade ago. So that's pretty cool coming from him. So that was pretty, and that's a loss. Last night was a loss for the Yankees. So unreal.
Oh, well, but it was very nice.
I agree. Greg, thank you so much. I like your ideas.
Welcome. Thanks.
All right, 518-1410, 518-1410. James Rapine with Sports Illustrated covers the Bengals. We'll look ahead to preseason. Game number 1 for Cincinnati coming up. Let's go to the Facebook feed. Lots on there. So David Shaw says that the Cubs AAA team is in Iowa for next year, that there's talk of that potentially being the Cubs and Yankees next year. That's the other thing, too. Like, it sounds cool. Oh, Cubs and Yankees. But it's this Cubs team. Like the whole time we're watching that, we're going to be thinking, oh yeah, there's no Chris Bryant, there's no Anthony Rizzo, there's no Baez, which I think all Reds fans are cool with that. But like, it's a depleted Cubs team. It doesn't matter. In fact, Shaw, you might as well send the AAA team to play in that because it's pretty much the same thing. Jeff on Facebook says, if the Reds are in it next year, maybe some of the ghost managers will come out of the crowd or come out of the corn and slap some sense into David Bell. Yeah, no love for David Bell. Reds got a win last night. That's good. Logan on Facebook says, I don't think that game would have had the same hype if the Yankees won either. The whole baseball fandom came together to enjoy another Yankees loss, just a more aesthetically pleasing Yankees loss. Logan, I don't think you're wrong. I do think, by the way, Logan, if that game would have ended with the Yankees coming back to win, like when they had the 8-7 lead, when they, you had all those home runs hit. I mean, they put 4 runs up on the board with 2 outs. I mean, it was 2 quick outs. I'm like, oh, well, this is going to kind of be a dud of a finish. Then they put 4 runs on the board with 2 outs. And then the next thing you know, it's a ball game again, and they have the lead, and it's like, oh, the big bad Yankees doing it. I think had that game ended that way, it still would have been special. But because it ended on a home run, it ended with the walk off, it ended up with the excitement, and you have Brian Anderson, who's, I don't know what he was doing with his hands underneath his chin, whatever it was, but I like that we're not talking about how, oh man, he disrespected, he didn't, they overly celebrated or whatever. No. That's why that was such a big win last night for baseball across the board. It had everything. It had nostalgia. It was able to provide something for the older fans. It had the star power. I mean, you got to see Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton hit home runs all in the same inning to give the Yankees the lead. I mean, that had everything that baseball could have imagined getting, they got. Leave it alone. Don't do it again next year. You're going to have a bad Cubs team. You'll have the Yankees, yes. The Yankees will win like 7 or 8-2. It's just not worth it to me. I'm not okay. I need the Yankee. I need Major League Baseball to leave it alone. Leave it alone. All right, 518-1410. Caller, what's your name? Is this Scott?
Yes, it's Scott.
Scott, how are you, sir? Welcome.
I'm good. I agree with Greg. I loved it. I actually teared up when it started, and I thought it was cool that the White Sox were playing in those uniforms, the same ones that were in the movie.
Yep.
You're right. It was just perfect. The one thing I do like, and I think they could do more of, I mean, baseball loves to kick itself in the nuts all the time with all the controversy, the cheating, and why not use more Hollywood production when the All-Star game comes around, or when someone famous retires? I mean, there are so many great ghosts in baseball and so many things to be celebrated about baseball and its history. I mean, that was just a taste of, what we could see more frequently, I think. And I think baseball fans would love it.
No, I think so. I think what you don't want to risk, though, is getting too gimmicky with everything you do. Last night was the first
I agree with that.
Last night was the first time I've seen baseball step outside the box. I mean, hell, even their All-Star games are boring. The most creative they try to.
I agree.
I mean, they changed the jerseys instead of letting them wear their team jerseys. Like, that was them trying to be creative, and that backfired. Like, for once, they got something right. Baseball always tries to take a few steps forward and they take a few steps back because of some boneheaded policy or the way that they approach things. The commissioner calling the World Series trophy just a hunk of metal. I mean, it's like there's been so much negative, controversy with Major League Baseball that we weren't talking steroids, we weren't talking trash cans, we weren't talking, putting snot on the ball.
Yep.
We weren't talking about David Bell using 85 pitchers in one inning. We weren't doing it.
Well, we remembered why we love baseball.
Yeah.
For a moment, we were like, oh, that's why I love baseball.
It was cool. It was real special. I thought that was neat. And I've never watched the movie. And it was still pretty cool.
Oh, you got to watch it. Don't watch it around your buddies that don't want to watch you sob, because you will sob.
I'm going to be sobbing from boredom.
You will weep.
Is it going to be the baseball version of Hoosiers?
Oh, Hoosiers, Hosers, whatever.
All right.
I agree with your Facebook guy, though, except I think there should be 2 reapers come out of the corn and drag David Bell into the corn.
Oh, that's a little harsh. If David Bell gets us to the playoffs, I don't really care, but I don't think he's going to do it.
We're not going to the playoffs. I'm sorry. The shrinkage already started against Atlanta.
Scott, good talking to you. We're out of time. We got James Rapine coming up, man. Good hearing from you.
All right. Bye.
All right. 518-1410. James Rapine joins us in 4 minutes. Let's see if we could sneak another call in. Caller, what's your name?
Tom.
Tom, how are you, Tom? Welcome.
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I am good. We have a few minutes before we got to get to our guest, but I want to hear what you have to say. You calling about Field of Dreams?
I'm calling about that. I look for baseball to run with that every year. You know how they are. But my comment about the game was that's the worst home plate umpiring I've ever seen.
Really?
Oh, the strike zone was terrible. If you watch the same game I watched last night, it was pretty bad, I thought. And not to mention a few of the hitters and the announcers thinking the same thing. It was pretty pathetic, I thought. So,
well, I know,
anyway,
I'm one of those where, there's good and bad, umping and everything like that. But, I've never once watched the game and said, man, that was a hell of a called game last night. There's always going to be.
No. But some of that stuff was pretty blatant, I thought. And, but he was calling them for both teams pretty bad. So I'll give him that. Hey, go Browns.
Go Browns. That's what I like to hear, baby. Take care. All right, 518-1410. That's the number to call in and join in on the conversation. All right, so we'll talk a little Cincinnati Bengals football on the other side. I'm mad at you Bengals fans. Some Bengals fan threw an ice cream cone at my car at a stoplight today and yelled "Who Day" and drove off. I'm not happy with you, but I'm afraid of you now. You have my attention. You have my attention. We good? Stop threatening me with ice cream cones. We good? It's Friday the 13th. I don't trust anybody today, but I do trust James Rapine, who covers the Bengals for Sports Illustrated. He joins us next. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Justin Kinner Show, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Hour 2 next.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzzed driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Save today on your next project with 11% off everything now at Menards. Save on Chamberlain garage door openers. Smart garage door openers feature built-in Wi-Fi that allow you to open and close your garage door from anywhere. Get 11% off all Chamberlain garage door openers. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through August 14th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Excuse me. I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before your office went, quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me, get granular, keep me in the pipeline. But nada, nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me, and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume, and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only thing I ask is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff, create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
The Reds are on the radio. Every hit, every strikeout, every Reds victory. You can catch all of the action all season long right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. Don't miss the ESPN Dayton Glazier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week every Friday night right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and Justin Kinner will have the call all season long. Check out wingam.com for the complete schedule and to stream the games live. WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local. What are you gonna miss? He struck him out. We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, happy Friday. Welcome back. Hour 2. It's the Justin Kinner Show. Listen, stream, and now watch. You can listen live at 1410 Wing AM. You could stream us at wingam.com. And then, of course, you can hang out with us and watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. You can also watch the show live weekdays from 3 to 6 on ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe and be a part of everything we do here locally weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You just heard it. We talked about it in the first hour, the ESPN Dayton Glazier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week. And week 1 will feature the Fairfield Indians going up against the Centerville Elks. And Keith Byers and I will be on the call for that one. Again, another year bringing you high school football. We cannot wait. And I can't believe it's already here, which means we're also getting closer to college football, which means we're also getting closer to the kickoff of the NFL. And what we will see is officially the kickoff of the NFL preseason for the Cincinnati Bengals tomorrow. And joining us now to give us all the information for your Cincinnati Bengals writer, James Rapine with Sports Illustrated. James, how are you, sir? Welcome.
I'm well, Justin. How are you, man?
Well, good, but I got to share a story with you. You're not in Dayton today, right? I need to know. I'm holding an investigation right now. So
I'm not in Dayton?
Are you in
No,
Dayton?
no.
Okay, good. So you're in the clear. So today I'm at Dunkin'. I get my coffee. I pull out. This individual pulls up next to me. He has 4 people in the car and looks over. He goes, "You Kenner from the radio?" I said, "Yeah, that's me." Now I feel like a badass at this point. I'm like, I've never been recognized because, I'm just Dayton. It's a small little city. No one knows who I am. So I feel pretty good about myself, James. I speed up, get to the next light. Same car. Now they wait till the light turns green. The dude in the back with his ice cream cone chucks it at my car and yells, "Who day?" And then they speed off. So that's, yeah. So excuse me if I'm, investigate. I just need to find out who did it so I could check you off the list, correct?
Wow. Yeah, you could check me off the list. I would never waste ice cream. That's ridiculous, unless it was some rough flavor, but there aren't many of those.
I wanted to be mad, but I'm not going to lie. I deserve it. I do poke the Bengals fans a little bit too much sometimes, but I'm trying to make – so it's Friday the 13th. People are in weird moods. I don't want to rock the boat anymore. So who day to all you Bengals fans tuning in and listening today. We got James Rapine on with us to talk Bengals preseason. But, James, first of all, this has been an interesting preseason at that. And, Joe Burrow, I think we got so excited about Joe Burrow coming back that we really kind of forgot about the reality of the fact that this dude is somehow walking not too long after having all that reconstructive surgery on his MCL, his ACL, everything else involved in his knee. I think we forgot about that. There's going to be time for him to heal up for that mentally, not just physically. I know that's probably been the biggest storyline to come out of camp. What's your takeaways for how you've seen that progress since the struggles early on in camp? It sounds like things have kind of gotten better over the last few days, though.
There's no doubt, Justin. And I think really there was a correlation when Joe Burrow went on record last Saturday before practice and said, yeah, I'm still fighting some stuff. And this wasn't necessarily something he expected. We know how mentally tough he is and how competitive he is. And then suddenly when he's in the pocket, he said he had trouble knowing who was who, essentially. And you kind of just have that feel. But if you're just seeing bodies and you don't have that feel anymore and you're used to having it, it's going to mess you up a little bit. And I think over the past couple of days, really a week now, we've seen him progress and look like the Burrow that you expect to look. Plant, throw, feel the pressure, roll out, run up the middle, all of those things. Now, is he 100% in the clear? No, I think it's going to be a process. But I think over the past week, we've seen a lot of progress. And those early days of, oh, my gosh, the defense is crushing this offense that's supposed to be so good. Well, they're not crushing them anymore. It's closer to 50-50, and the offense has certainly won, so to speak, some of these practice days.
James, and you might know this answer, when guys are medically cleared to, come off an injury, what is there a certain threshold? What is the percent, I guess? Is there a percent? Is there a number? Like when they say you're cleared, doesn't necessarily mean you're 100%, correct? Like what's the threshold, or what is the percent health-wise that you have to be cleared to play? Because I think what a lot of critics were saying when Joe Burrow was, hey, I'm healthy. I'm 100%. I'm ready to go. What does being cleared mean as far as a percent threshold-wise, I guess, in regards to, how healthy he is?
Yeah, I think physically, as far as like the structure of the knee and all of those things, it's probably 100%, right? The muscles around the knee that he's worked all offseason to strengthen. But that doesn't mean he's 100% athletically. That doesn't mean he's 100% when he's got a plant, cut, move, pivot, or, all of those different things. And that's just something to me that you have to do. Right. If you're not doing those things and pushing it at a 110%, so to speak, on the football field, it's really hard to simulate that. And so I think that's it. I think physically he's 100% as far as a doctor examining him. But I think that there's how there's football shape. Well, he's got to get that knee, get his body into football shape. Not that he's out of shape again, but he's been limited to what he could do all off season, and now he's playing 11 on 11 and stuff like that. So when you're coming back from an injury like that, I just think it's got to get a ton of reps. And as you do all of the physical and mental stuff, all those hurdles, you'll pass them up one by one, which is why if I'm the Bengals, I would at least, and you're probably going to ask me this, I would at least consider playing him in the preseason. He's not going to play tomorrow night, but I would consider doing it before the start of the regular season.
I talked to Jay Morrison a while back when he was on. It was right when training camp had started. And that was an interesting day because there were some interesting quotes. Like Zach Taylor had come out, said, we're not going to handle him with kids' gloves. We're not going to, be overprotective of him. It's, he's back and we got to hit the ground running. And then not too long after that, Mike Brown had come out and said, well, he's not going to play at all in the preseason. I mean, it appeared, the perception is those are mixed messages, but maybe they just are what they are. We're not going to handle him with kids' gloves in practice, but no preseason. But then Zach Taylor comes out and says we haven't ruled out playing him in the preseason. Is there mixed messages between Zach Taylor and the front office, or is that just me over dissecting it?
Over dissecting it. I think Mike kind of shot from the hip when he said that. He hadn't talked to the media in a long time, so he was probably like, "Look, that's why he's probably not gonna. You're not gonna see him in the preseason." At the same time, Joe wants preseason reps. Jamar Chase wants to get some reps with him in the preseason. Tyler Boyd's talked about the importance of it. All of the players are going to push for it. Now, does that mean that Zach Taylor is going to be able to convince Mike Brown? I don't know. And I understand why you would never want to put Joe Burrow in a meaningless game as he's still coming back from an injury like this. Because it wasn't just an ACL, right? You're talking about a really ugly injury that he dealt with. So I understand that logic. And that's why I won't be shocked at all if they play it safe and they say, look, you're going to suit up week one and that's that. At the same time, there is value in getting him out there and getting past that mental and physical hurdle of live reps. And you can do it. It's not like they've gone live in practice where guys are tackling. None of that happens. That never happens. There's thump drill and stuff like that, but no one's really getting knocked to the ground. And not that Burrow would get hit anyways, even in the preseason. I think it would be a screen pass, a couple handoffs, maybe one quick slant, and then get out of here. But I think those reps are valuable. So it is going to be interesting to see. And I do think that Mike Brown is going to say, I don't think we should play him because I just think that's his mentality. Why would we risk it? But I think there are going to be some people in the building, specifically the players, that are like, we should probably get him out there for a bit and get some reps.
Do the Bengals do any practices with other teams? Like I hear around the league, like some, there's, teams kind of partner up and have little scrimmages against one another. Are the Bengals doing that this year?
They are not.
They're not. Is that just all? The teams obviously have the choice to do that or not. Are there pros and cons to doing that in your opinion? Should the Bengals do that? Where are you with that?
Yeah, I think it would be good. The problem is, and this is, one of the many, right, is do you want to get into that with, the COVID-19 rules and all that stuff? Do you want to have to worry about traveling and staying elsewhere? And then you have your vaccinated group, and most of the Bengals are vaccinated, but still, and then you have your unvaccinated group. And it's just, I think that as much as anything was probably a factor in them not having a joint practice or joint practices. Because when you scheduled that, we're talking about months ago. So you didn't really know what to expect. But yeah, I do think there's value in it. And, at the same time, that's why I think, because Burrow would play in those, right? He would play in some joint practice action. Mm-hmm. Well, to me, your 3 joint practices are these preseason games. And that's why I get it, not playing him this week. I wouldn't even play him next week against Washington. But that 3rd preseason game, I would treat like a real game for 2 series. I would bring Burrow out, and, that's August 29th. So now you're talking about 9 months past surgery. You're not in that 8-month range, and you can really you're 2 weeks out from the start of the regular season. So if he's good to go then, it's probably going to be good to go on August 29th. So that would be what I would do.
Low-hanging fruit question, the offensive line. That's what everyone's going to be keeping an eye on. Joe Burrow's knee is a constant reminder of what not paying attention to that line a year ago, the significance of that means. What's that looking like to you? I know it's hard to really get a good idea of it unless you're watching it up against, other competition outside of, inter-squad scrimmages. But from what I'm not an offensive line aficionado. To be honest with you, when guys call in and try arguing about how good so-and-so looked, I'm like, sure, I'll take your word for it. I have no clue. I'm just basing it, but how good is this offensive line, or how bad is it looking? Is you just haven't seen enough? Where are we at with that? What are people telling you about how they feel about the growth of the offensive line?
Well, I think Riley Reese has certainly been a nice addition at right tackle. So let's start with the positive. I think they're better at right tackle than they were last year. Jonah Williams looks the part. I think he's going to be their best offensive lineman this season. Trey Hopkins, you haven't seen much of him yet, but he is going to start at center, won't play tomorrow. He's coming back from an ACL as well, and he's fully clear. They're just kind of taking him slow, much like Burrow, so he's ready for week 1. So then you got the 2 guard spots, and this was really the biggest weakness of the Bengals offensive line last year. And Quentin Spain settling into that left guard spot, I think he wins that job, and if so, I think he's a solid left guard. I really do. I think he's going to be fine. That being said, right guard, it was supposed to be Jackson Carman's job. He's a 3rd-teamer. He's been underwhelming thus far. Hasn't really flashed at all. You just want rookies to flash. Oh, I noticed him. I noticed Cam Sample. I've noticed Joseph Osai. Obviously I've noticed Jamar Chase. But you haven't really noticed Deontay Smith even. But you haven't noticed Jackson Carman. So that's something that we're going to monitor here and how he plays in the preseason. But Xavier Su'a-Filo hasn't really seized the day like Quentin Spain has from a veteran standpoint and taking that job. So right now, Michael Jordan is listed as the starting right guard, and he was playing left guard last year when Burrow went down in Washington. So that's questionable at best. Just putting Michael Jordan back in there. Now he's changed his body. He worked really hard this offseason, but we hear that about every player. So I think there's certainly question marks, and even though I'm focusing on one position, I will say this: the depth behind the guys I mentioned at all those other positions is questionable. Their tackle depth is questionable. The moment Quentin Spain, if he gets nicked up at all, well, then who's going to play left guard? So I would say depth and right guard are their 2 biggest flaws right now. And if they can figure out right guard, their starting 5 could be okay. But, they're not going to be world beaters, and they're certainly not going to be, one of these top 5, top 8 offensive lines.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with Jackson Carman. I feel bad for the kid because he's not people aren't going to be hard on him because they don't like him, but whether he likes it or not, he was selected way higher than any other team was going to pick him. And so all eyes were going to be on him to say, well, what did we miss? Maybe they saw something we didn't. And, I think Jackson Carman is who Jackson Carman is. He's living up to what he was graded as heading into the draft. And that's what's unfortunate is I don't think he's not living up to the build. I just think that he was drafted probably where he should not have been, which changed the expectations and view of him. If he was selected drafted in the 4th or 5th round, where he probably was most likely going to go had the Bengals not taken him. No one's blinking at this. No one's even paying attention to it. And I think that's the unfortunate thing. He's similar to Jamar Chase. Now, Jamar Chase isn't floundering like, of course, Jackson Carman is, but Jamar Chase, James, even if he has a great year, if he is not the number one wide receiver in this rookie class, like I think that door to criticism is going to be open, because if he's drafted 11th or 12th, I don't think all eyes are on him. But because he was selected at 5th, and because the controversy of offensive line pick versus a wide receiver, there's a lot of pressure on him. What are your takeaways from what you see in camp? And again, James, not what you think of him as how he's performed as a wide receiver, but how has he performed as far as living up to the expectations of, oh, you were so talented that they had to pick you over the offensive line. Is he living up to those expectations, I guess?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's tough to look at it that way, and I get it. I get the question, because a lot of people do, for better or worse. But he has flashed, and there's been multiple times where it's like, oh, that's why he was the 5th pick or the 8th pick, or and he wouldn't have gotten past 6 to Miami, even though Dolphins fans love Waddle and they talk about that. He would have won 6th if Sewell went to. So it's one of those things where Chase is learning all 3 spots. They put him in the slot, they put him on X, they put him at D some, and so I think mentally he's getting all of that down. And it's not like he hasn't grasped the X's and O's part of it. It's that when he's on the field, he's still thinking, because it's not second nature yet. And that's what practice is for. And while he's flashed, I think he leaves some plays out there because he is thinking. And they've thrown a lot at him, and it's a complex offense. That AJ Green never settled into the offense. So I think Chase is going to be just fine. He's flashed plenty. But when you put it like that, like you phrased the question, no, it's not like he's lighting up camp and he's been this uncoverable star. And I think that's okay. I wouldn't press panic for the team chasers or the team Sewell people. I wouldn't say, oh, I told you so. I wouldn't do that either, because there's been mixed reviews with Sewell too, because it's early. These rookies are getting used to it. So I think Chase has flashed enough, but has he been this uncoverable star? No, he hasn't yet. But I certainly see that potential.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say anything. Last time I did, I got ice cream thrown at me. So I'm just going to say, okay, James answered the question, and off we go. James Rapine, Sports Illustrated, covers the Bengals. James, last thing, and we'll let you go. Of course, other big Bengals news this week, Jesse Bates. I actually, when I read the quote that he had, it sounds worse when you read it than when you heard him. I don't know if you can kind of dissect that a little bit, but I didn't have a problem with what he said, and I'm always looking for something to spin to kind of get people talking. But I thought that was overblown what he said. I really do. I think, that was basically just him saying, hey, obviously I haven't done enough. I got to do more, even though I don't agree with that. I think he has done enough. What are some factors that are leading into this? Is it more his camp not liking what the Bengals are offering, or the Bengals are hesitant to make him the highest paid at his position? What is going on here? And is it bigger than just, they just don't want to pay him?
No, I think they want to pay him. I just think that the two sides are far apart.
Or they don't want to pay him the max money, I guess is what I'm saying. But anyways, keep going.
Well, exactly. So that's the tough part is, what do the Bengals define as max money? And what does Jesse Bates and his agent, what do they view it as? Because they may say, all right, well, the salary cap ceiling in 2022 is around $208 million. And then after that, it's going to skyrocket. And that's, by the way, like $30 million more than it is this year. And then it's going to skyrocket. And if that happens, well, then you look at what, the high-end safeties get. Well, it's like 7% of the salary cap. It's going to go up from like $15 million to $22, $23 million per. Oof. So that's what I want to know. I want to know where they are, and I don't know. And because that's the thing. Are the Bengals offering Jesse Bates $12 million? Because if so, he should laugh at them. Or are they offering him $16 or $17 million per with good guarantees? And he's asking for top safety money in a year or two when the cap's higher, when that contract kicks in, right? And so that's the part that's tough. That being said, I think they have to, and I wrote this today at All Bengals, they have to find a way to get this deal done. They've marketed him as the best safety in the league. They've promoted him as that. And so if he's asking for that kind of money, you got to do it. And here's why you got to do it, Justin. The Bengals drafted crappy for years. That's why they've had 5 straight losing seasons. Really from like 2015 on, it was dud after dud after dud. And even before that, but that's really when the pattern started. And so that's led to this. Well, you get it right with Bates. You get it right with Higgins. You feel like you've gotten it right with Burrow. And building and trending in the right direction. Well, if all these young guys see that you're not willing to pay a guy who's younger than Joe Burrow, who's put in the time, who has developed, who's done everything right on and off the field, became a leader in that locker room. If you're not willing to pay him, then imagine what message it sends to those guys and what they're going to say and what their agents are going to say to them. And so that's the part of it that where I think Jesse ultimately will get his money. Now, will it be this offseason? I'm not sure. Will it be next offseason? I think so, and I know they have the franchise tag in their back pocket, but I think at some point the Bates deal gets done, and it's because the Bengals, they need to start rewarding these young players that they whiffed on for so many years. Well, now they're getting it right again in the draft. You got to keep those guys if you're going to build a strong core and get back to the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's, the one thing you can say about the Bengals is that they have always been very good about, they haven't been very aggressive in free agency historically, but they've always financially taken care of guys that they've drafted and built themselves, which is why this is kind of a head scratcher. Does the fact that they have spent so much money defensively, James, over the last 2 off seasons combined, play a role into why they're hesitant to spend more money on the defense? Like, you have to pay them, you have to pay that position, but they've spent so much money on that defense. And it's like, I don't even know how good that defense is going to be. I know it'll be improved, but when you look at the money that they've spent, that also opens the door to the criticism of, okay, you've spent an awful lot of money, but like, was it worth the growth that you guys have had? I think this year's going to play a huge role in that, as far as not just individual performances, but collectively too. I'm interested to see that.
For sure. No, there's no doubt about it. And look, if you're willing to pay Trey, and that's the other part of it, right? When you talk about locker room messages, if you're bringing in all these outside guys, Von Bell, who's been a welcome addition to the locker room, Trey Waynes, who we'll see, but has had a good training camp, Chidobe Awuzie this offseason, Mike Hilton this offseason, Trey Hendrickson, all these guys, but you can't pay Jesse Bates? He's better than all those guys. He's and they all think that. Mike Hilton thinks that. He said he played with Minka Fitzpatrick last year in Pittsburgh, and he's like, oh, Jesse Bates is the best safety in the league. Now, is he just saying that because he's on Bates' team? Maybe. But I don't think he's not one of the top 5 safeties in the league, right? So to me, it's got to get done. And they do, to answer your question about money, they're going to have a ton of cap space next year. They may have $50+ million in space. So they're going to be fine when it comes to adding Bates to the number of defensive players they're paying.
So there's no excuse. So there you go. Get it done, Bengals. And I think they will. I really do think they'll get it done. Don't throw ice cream at me, people. Leave me alone. All right, James, I appreciate you.
I'll take some ice cream.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll take some ice cream, but not thrown at me. How about that? Real quick, just what are you looking for tomorrow on the way out? James Rapien, Sports Illustrated, covers the Bengals. First preseason game tomorrow. Obviously, no Joe Burrow. Without Joe Burrow, of course, who all eyes would normally be on, he's out. What's the number one thing you are looking for in this preseason game? Again, preseason to me is more about filling out the back end of your roster than so much with the starters. But what's the biggest thing you're looking for tomorrow? Is, again, just a lot of new faces and young faces just trying to show that they're making steps in the right direction.
Trenches. It's all about the trenches tomorrow. Jamar Chase, people could talk about him. He hasn't even really worked with Brandon Allen at all. So my expectations for that are just get used to another NFL corner and a good defense. But to me, can this defensive line that they've invested a ton of money in succeed against Tom Brady, apparently, who might be playing in that first-team Bucs offense? And then on the flip side, how can this offensive line hold off arguably the best defensive line in the league? So that's where I'll be looking. Trenches all day.
All right, good stuff. James, you gave me a lot of time, more than I anticipated, so thank you. Have a great weekend. Excited I don't care if it is preseason. I've enjoyed watching preseason. Football's football to me, man, and I'm excited for tomorrow.
Yep, me too, Justin. Appreciate you having me.
All right, there he is. Thanks, James. James Rapien, Sports Illustrated, covers the Cincinnati Bengals. Good enough to hang out with us here and give us a little time today. Lots of interesting stuff there. Look, this Jesse Bates thing does interest me. This is why my only criticism, not my own, I have a lot. I know I'm kind of, look, I don't care. Throw ice cream at me here. But this team's a mess. I don't think that they have a set plan. I don't think that they have a board that they're like, okay, here's the direction we want to go in. I just think it's, all right, we need this guy, just pay him. All right, we need this player, just pay him. It doesn't sound like there's a plan in place. I don't know the direction that they're going in. Say what you want, make fun of Cleveland. I do feel like Andrew Berry has a board, and I think he knows what the next move is for all of these guys. I think there's some question marks. I think they need to see what Baker does this year. I think they need to see what Denzel Ward does this year. But I do believe that there's always a plan. I feel like every time the Browns make a move lately, again, this is the joke of a franchise. That hasn't changed. But right now, they're on a hot streak. every time the Browns make a decision, I feel like, and I trust that they know what they're doing in regards to they have a plan in place. And everything they touch makes sense right now. I don't get that vibe from Cincinnati, not because I'm a hater, because I have common sense. I just like this right here doesn't make sense. You know, they name your price and they go out and they get Hendrickson and they take care of all these other random pieces from the outside coming in, but they're letting inside guys go left and right. Not that they've let him go necessarily, but they need to step up and get this done. And they need to have a plan in place. And I don't think they do. I know James just said they have a ton of cap space next year, even with paying Bates, but it still feels like you have spent over $200 million on this defense, and it still might be the fourth best defense in the AFC North. And when I say fourth best, that's the worst defense in the AFC North. So something's got to, they have to get some guys locked down to build around. And it starts with Bates. They have to do it. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show. If you missed the interview with James Rapien, it'll be available in your Apple iTunes, Google Play Store. Make sure you subscribe to the Justin Kinner Show in your Apple iTunes, Google Play Store. You'll be able to catch all shows in their entirety, as well as select segments and all interviews, including the one that we just did with James Rapien and the one that we, of course, had earlier this week with Kirk Herbstreit. So I just actually spoke with Jason Fitz, ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz, earlier today. We worked out a deal again. He's going to be coming back and being a part of the show all football season. So every Wednesday throughout the NFL and college football season, we'll have Jason Fitz on to talk all about the Browns, the Bengals, and all top NFL news as well as college football. So we're looking forward to that. It's the Justin Kinner Show. We'll step away for a few moments. When we come back, we touched on it lightly with James Rapien. I want to kind of dive more into this. Jackson Carman, Jamar Chase. I know everyone is saying, well, they're young. Give them time. The problem is, and it's not their fault, it's Mike Brown's fault, the time to improve, I don't think that they get the amount of time that other rookies get to improve. There has been pressure put on them that they didn't ask for. In all the criticism's not their fault, it's Mike Brown's, and I'll explain why. Don't go anywhere. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 90. Tonight will be mostly cloudy, also with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a low near 63. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 82. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane, making buying propane easy since 1952, offering budget billing and pre-buy options. Find out more at culletpropane.com.
Hi, Tom Bodette for Motel 6, leaving the light on for families back on the road. Kids in suitcases jammed in the back, earbuds tangled in the dog, heading to see Aunt Jasmine and her rock garden. Admit it, you missed this. And Motel 6 has been missing you. With our clean, comfortable rooms and great low rates, we've been giving families on the move the perfect roadside rest for almost as long as Aunt Jasmine's been putting rocks in her yard. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Greatness. It's not born of coincidence. It's not a product of luck. It's forged through dedication, drills, and the acquisition of new skills. Wanting won't get you there, but sweat equity just might.
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street wants to wish the Dayton Flyers Red Scare the best of luck in their journey through the basketball tournament. Wear red, be loud, go Flyers!
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
O'Reilly. Syntec is back and better than ever at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec is a premium full synthetic motor oil at an affordable price. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec full synthetic and a Wix filter for just $31.99. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. Minimize friction, heat, and wear on your engine with Syntec full synthetic motor oil exclusively at
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Take in a Reds game from the Kroger bleachers for some fun in the sun this summer. Offering one of the best values at the ballpark, the Kroger bleachers are a great location to watch the action with family and friends while cheering on your Reds. Plus, you can take advantage of the Kroger meal deal at every game, which includes a hot dog, soft drink, chips, and a snack. Get your tickets today at Reds.com.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Want free Reds tickets? How about a free MLB Network Reds bag? Maybe a Reds bobblehead? Here's an idea. How about we combine them all together and give you a chance to win a free WING Reds prize pack presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Register daily at wingam.com. Don't miss the ESPN Dayton Glacier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week every Friday night, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and Justin Kinner will have the call all season long. Check out wingam.com for the complete schedule and to stream the games live. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, welcome back. Justin Kinner hanging out with you here on a Friday. Happy Friday, the Justin Kinner Show presented by Orion Sports Medicine. 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, 88 receptions. If Jamar Chase does not have 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 88 receptions, I'm labeling him his rookie year a bust. Let's talk about expectations for Jamar Chase and the Cincinnati Bengals. As again, the preseason game tomorrow, I don't really care about the preseason game team results. I am going to be looking for individual performances and not really so much stats, but just how they look. Like last night, we saw the debut of Mac Jones. He walked out onto the field to the crowd going crazy. Patriots fans loved him. And how about, last night, Chase Young, by the way, lighting up Cam Newton. That was pretty cool. So, there's expectations. All right. Everything is going to come with a grain of salt. So for instance, Mac Jones gets drafted, I think 15th overall by the New England Patriots. They didn't trade up to get Mac Jones. They have Cam Newton. If Mac Jones doesn't light it up, he's not necessarily a bust. Mainly, I always say it's kind of where you draft somebody. When you draft somebody in the top 5, they better hit. They better hit. If they don't hit, that's the bad look for you. Because for one, although we have this big ESPN production, these cities are bidding to host the draft. The draft is viewed as this humongous great thing, and it is. It's entertainment for fans. But if you are always watching the draft with emotions high because your team's always picking in the top 5, top 10 consistently, for one, you have a problem. Your team has a problem, and you have a problem for being excited about. Basically, you're celebrating being bad. Man, we were so bad last year, and we're being rewarded with this pick. You are you are part of the problem. You are enabling a team to continue being bad because it's this is embarrassing. The teams that are picking at the top of the draft, we should not be talking about them so positively. They're bad. They're not good. The same teams that these networks don't want anything to do with during the regular season, somehow ESPN, the genius network that they are, found a way to generate millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars off of the draft. The same teams that are not good enough for you to put on your primetime slots throughout the season. No one is flexing the Bengals into primetime throughout the regular season. No one's flexing the Jags into primetime. Nobody wants anything to do with the bad teams, but yet somehow, some way, ESPN found a way to fool all of you guys into getting excited about the draft year in and year out. Because why? Because your team's bad and we're going to celebrate it with the draft? I don't get it. I've never understood the concept of that. It's all about marketing and positioning it the way that they have. Good for ESPN being the geniuses that they are, because somehow they take the teams that nobody wants to watch every year and puts them in front and center. To think about it, they have to use the Bengals and the Jaguars and the Browns for many, many years to sell this draft to get people to watch. And it's so weird to me. It's basically, it's a night where every team gets to hit the reset button, I guess. I don't know. It's so strange to me. It really is. Like I said, CBS, ABC, ESPN, all the Fox, all the networks that carry NFL all year. They don't want anything to do with the Jaguars. They don't want anything to do with the Bengals. They don't want anything to do with these bad teams, but somehow you bring all the bad teams together collectively, and you have cities bidding. You have Dallas, you have Nashville, you have Cleveland, who just held it this year. These big cities bidding and spending billions of dollars to bring the draft there to highlight the bad teams. It doesn't make any sense to me, but that's where we're at. So you're bad for a reason. You're picking in the top 5, which means you have to hit. You have to hit. Whoever you select has to be a game changer. They have to be a part of your foundation moving forward. And through no fault of his own, Jamar Chase was selected number 5 overall. Now he has to be a foundation player. I threw out those stats earlier: 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, 88 receptions. If Jamar Chase if that's not his stat line at the end of this year, it's a failed season. The Bengals failed. Jamar Chase did not live up to expectations. And here's why. Justin Jefferson, a rookie receiver last year, heading into year 2, as a rookie, caught for 1,400 yards, had 7 touchdowns on 88 receptions, about almost 16 yards a catch. It's pretty good. He was selected 22nd overall. So that's what makes him even more special, is the fact that he was not looked at as a game changer. He was selected later in the draft, right? Game changer. That's number 22nd overall. So that's at least what you should get. If you're going to take someone at number 5, a wide receiver, they better at least give you that. Because if Joe Burrow's as good as everyone says he is, he's better than Kirk Cousins, right? Because you can't tell me, well, yeah, Justin Jefferson, look at the offense he plays. The same type of offense you're trying to convince me that the Bengals have. Is Joe Burrow better than Kirk Cousins? Okay. Is he a part of the bet? You guys love their receiving core. So, right, Jamar Chase should have what Justin Jefferson did last year. If he doesn't, not saying he's a bust of a pick long term, but it's not going to impress me in year one. It will be a bust of a pick if he does not live up to Justin Jefferson in year one. Bust for at least the first season. Like, there's no excuse. Justin Jefferson went to the Vikings, who has Kirk Cousins. Not better than Joe Burrow, right? Or is he? I don't know, Bengals fans. Help me out. Is he better than Kirk Cousins? The bottom line is, if Jamar Chase doesn't get 1,400 yards on 88 receptions and at least 7 touchdowns, it's a flawed year. It's not a good year. Now, that's why. So I just had James Rapine on, covers the Bengals for Sports Illustrated. And the reason I shaped the question being what it is because of this. It's interesting to me because at the end of the day, I'm looking at this big picture saying, hey, you know what? The expectations are different for a receiver being picked number 5 versus being picked later in the draft. Okay, Jamar Chase is supposed to be a foundation player, make an impact right away. That's what Bengals fans were trying to convince me. They were trying to convince me that we need Jamar Chase more so than we need an offensive lineman. Because, and this is why I called this out yesterday, every Bengals fan that would call into the show would tell me that Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, they're okay. They're not great. They're just okay. They really need Jamar Chase. Then they get Jamar Chase, and now you same Bengals fans are calling into the show saying, best receiving core in football. Best receiving core in football. I don't get it. It's interesting to me how you guys move that goalpost around a little bit. But Jamar Chase has to live up to those expectations, and here's why. Because you got picked number 5 overall. If the Bengals would have had like the 25th pick, or let's say the 27th pick, or even the 15th pick and selected Jamar Chase, it wouldn't be as loud of a reaction. The expectations wouldn't be as high. This is why I asked James Rapine about that a little bit ago about, okay, how are you viewing him? Because not just from the standpoint of, oh, for a rookie, he's having an okay camp. No, the perception is that he was so good that you had to select him number 5 overall. You had to select him over Penei Sewell. You had to select him over some of these, the top offensive linemen out there. Like, that was your number one need. The reason your quarterback is walking on 1.5 legs right now is because that offensive line was so bad, and you chose to not prioritize that by selecting a wide receiver, but you justified it by saying that he is not just a wide receiver. He is the wide receiver. He is the guy. You have to select Jamar Chase. If you don't take Jamar Chase, you will be kicking yourself later. Maybe he develops into a Pro Bowl wide receiver. Sounds like he's had a solid start to camp. But is he going to live up to what Justin Jefferson was in year one? Justin Jefferson, had he not performed the way he did last year, no one bats an eye and says, oh, he's a bust of a pick or he's a horrible wide receiver. They just say, oh, I mean, they took a chance, number 22nd overall pick. We'll see what happens. But that's kind of where I'm at with this is Jamar Chase has to, I feel bad for him to a certain point because you have guys like me who are looking at him to be lights out from the very get-go. Jerry Rice from the get-go. Justin Jefferson from the get-go. Hopkins from the get-go. You have to be dominant from the get-go. It's not fair, and it's not his fault. It's the Bengals' fault. They put him in that situation, unfortunately. And that's why I brought up Jackson Carman a little bit ago as well. It's not Jackson Carman's fault that he is being beat up so much by fans and media for being listed as the 3rd-string guard right now, right? Jackson Carman is actually Jackson Carman is who he is. That's who he is. That's who he is going to be. And maybe he improves. Look at Michael Jordan. Apparently, I don't know if this Michael Jordan being first on the depth chart is a good or a bad thing. Is it a feel-good story because he improves so much that he's the 1st-string guard, right? Or is it, oh man, that's the best we got? It sounds like it's the, oh man, that's the best we got. What I'm hoping is that, wow, this is a really cool success story for Michael Jordan that he's improved enough to be the starting guard for, the Bengals offensive line. I would like to think that it's a feel-good story, and I hope, because he's a Buckeye especially, that's where I'm also coming from with this, is I'm pulling for him. I'm really pulling for him, that's the case. Probably not, though. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Orion Sports Medicine. We'll open up the phone lines. They're back open now. 518-1410. Bengals fans, am I being unfair? I don't think I'm being unfair to expect that Jamar Chase should have a Justin Jefferson type season. You didn't select him in the 2nd round. You didn't select him late in the 1st round. You selected him number 5 overall. I don't think I'm being unreasonable to expect that a Jamar Chase be Justin Jefferson. That's who he should be, right? That's who you convinced me that he was to justify taking him over Penei Sewell or an offensive lineman. And then the same thing with Jackson Carman. I mean, again, Bengals fans were drooling over this. Oh, man, this is a smart pick, Jackson Carman. I said, if he wasn't local, would you still feel that way? I don't think you would. It's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Orion Sports Medicine. We're going to step away for a few minutes. The phone lines are open, 518-1410. 518-1410. That's the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. We'll continue with your calls on the other side. We're also live on Facebook and YouTube. We'll also have our conversation with Kirk Herbstreit around the corner as well. We'll talk a little Ohio State football, the quarterback situation going on in Columbus with him. But I'm curious, Bengals fans' thoughts on this Jamar Chase situation. I'm not bashing the kid. I'm not going to say he's a bust or that he's a failure, but all I'm saying is that unfortunately the pressure is there. He has to live up to Justin Jefferson at least. He has to be that type of receiver, that type of impact guy. Justin Jefferson came in with no expectations and lived up to it. Or surpassed it, I guess, if that's what you want to say. Jamar Chase has those expectations to be that guy. And he has to be that guy. I mean, it's unfortunate, but he was put in that position. If he's drafted later in the first round, not as much pressure on him. There's pressure on him whether he likes it or not. Just like there was pressure on Jackson Carman. Jackson Carman was going to be probably third string no matter what team picked him up. But it's only being talked about because they took a chance on him in the second round and they passed up on first round graded guys to take him, and that everyone was scratching their heads. It's not Jamar Chase's fault. It's not Jackson Carman's fault. It's the pressure was put on them by gambling. And I'm a bad gambler. I'm the Cincinnati Bengals of gambling when I go to the casino. We'll be back in a moment. It's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Orion Sports Medicine. 518-1410.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Installing brand new carpets shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Enjoy a simplified installation experience at the Home Depot by licensed local professionals with an unbeatable selection of affordable styles, colors, and fabrics that are durable and low maintenance, including options that are odor and stain resistant. And right now, you can get your carpet installed for free. Get started today at the Home Depot. Free carpet installation on purchases of $4.99 or more. No square foot minimum. Excludes in stock styles. U.S. only. See store for details.
It's back to school season at JCPenney, and the smart time to shop is now. Stock up on styles kids want and shop doorbusters all day Thursday to Sunday while they last. Like $11.99 select Thereabouts denim and $19.99 Arizona sneakers. Or use your coupon to save an extra 25% on select categories. Shop extended store hours all weekend. Weekdays are back in style. JCPenney. Doorbusters valid age 12 to age 15 and excluded from coupon. Coupon valid through 8/19. Some exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Ready to check homeownership off your bucket list, but worried you can't afford it? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency is here to help. We offer down payment assistance and discounted interest rates to recent Ohio college grads, teachers, nurses, veterans, and more. Not a first-time home buyer? We've got a program for you too. Find out if you qualify at myohiohome.org. That's myohiohome.org. Homeownership, ready when you are. Sponsored by the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, aired by the OAB and this station.
Hi, this is Sales Manager Jason High of Germain Honda Beaver Creek. Personally, inviting you to take advantage of the 0% financing on the Honda HR-V, Passport, and Pilot. Germain Honda has over 200 new Hondas to choose from, including the redesigned 2021 Honda Ridgeline and the 2022 Honda Odyssey, plus over 30 of the brand new 2022 Honda Civics to choose from. Now that's a selection no one else in the region can claim. Route 35 just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City is hiring for warehouse positions in all units, which include flexible schedules, best-in-class benefits, enhanced starting wages, and $1,500 sign-on bonus. Apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Keyword search distribution, location Tip City, or call 937-669-9109, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., Monday through Friday. Walk-in interviews are also available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 937-669-9109. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
What's up? This is Riley. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Chicken Club sandwich is the applewood bacon. It's savory, and then it's also kind of sweet. And I think the combination of bacon with chicken and Colby Jack cheese, it just really knocks it out of the park.
Hey, I'm Tanea. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Chicken Club sandwich is the chicken. It's so juicy. It's grilled to perfection. I'm going to devour this sandwich.
Order the Grilled Chicken Club sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. HIMS was our answer. HIMS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He got medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price of the name brand, delivered right to our door. Thanks to HIMS, we got our intimacy and our marriage back.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit free when you go to forhims.com/joy. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. To find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Hi folks, it's me again, and I'm cooking in the sun just like you are. But you know, you can still plant those trees and shrubs right now, and with proper watering, still gain a full summer's growth. We keep our garden center fully stocked all summer long with thousands of good, healthy trees, shrubs, evergreens, perennials, and annuals, because we know that some folks just can't get it all done in the spring. Also, this time of the year, there are lots of bargains all over our 6-acre nursery and greenhouses. We have potted rose bushes as low as $8.95, flats of annuals starting at $8.95, and hanging baskets starting at $6.95. We still have a great selection of Rose of Sharon, boxwoods, hydrangeas, and barberry, and lots of ponds, pottery, and statuary. So come on out to 1309 Brand Pike, and remember, we're open 7 days.
O'Reilly Auto Parts specializes in keeping your car on the road. Not sure how much life is left in your battery? Our professional parts people will test it for free. If it does need to be replaced, we'll help you find just the right one to fit your car. Our Superstar batteries are built to handle even the toughest conditions. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Do you have a vehicle you need to sell? It's never been quicker or easier than at our new Jeff Approves location, the newest addition to the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group. Come see us in Fairborn or visit jeffapproves.com.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays at 3 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Big thanks to James Rapine, covers the Bengals for Sports Illustrated, giving us the latest on reports out of camp. Again, just with all the talk surrounding the progression of Joe Burrow and his knee, and Jamar Chase in his rookie season. Jackson Carman third on the depth chart after being selected in the second round. Of course, it was a big-time criticized move by the Bengals, which shouldn't surprise anybody, but they're wrong. It's not working, like as of at least right now. And again, people could say, well, why don't you let it breathe a little bit? That's not how this works. Our opinions are based on what's going on now. And right now, the reports, there have been more negative reports out of camp than positive. And once we get a string of positive reports together, my tone will change. But until then, so I was talking about Jamar Chase earlier, and I mentioned the fact that, Justin Jefferson had 1,400 yards receiving in his rookie season. Justin Jefferson had 7 touchdowns. He had 88 receptions. I said that's where the bar is. Like Jamar Chase, because of where he was drafted. If Jamar Chase was drafted 20th, 25th, maybe the second round, which wasn't going to happen, even 15th, if he's not selected in the top 10 and he doesn't match those numbers, okay, fine. A lot of receivers go in the first round. Rarely do they hit. Justin Jefferson hit. And with the way the Bengals talked and with the way the fans have talked and the way they've come at me about it, that Jamar Chase is the real deal. Well, if he's the real deal, the very least he could do is be Justin Jefferson. 88 receptions, 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns. If he can't do that, then he's not who you said. It's pretty simple. I don't think I'm being negative. I don't think I'm being a hater. I think it's just common sense. You select Justin Jefferson, or if you selected Jamar Chase anywhere else in the draft, it is what it is. But there are expectations that come with being selected in the top 5. It's as simple as that. And I don't think I'm a hater for saying that if he does not have a great rookie year, then the Bengals messed up. Because you didn't have, this isn't good teams like the New England Patriots have enough weapons around them and they have Cam Newton. They could have afforded to select Mac Jones, who could potentially be a project. The Bears have Andy Dalton. They could afford to take Justin Fields and let him be a project. All right. What you can't do is select a guy high in the draft that probably shouldn't be selected as high as what he was. And then if they don't pan out, you say, well, you just got to give it time. You're selecting at the top of the draft. You have a quarterback, a bad offensive line. You did not have time to draft a project. Maybe Jamar Chase. So James Rapine, who covers the Bengals, called in earlier and basically said he's been okay. He showed some sparks, but he hasn't been electric. He hasn't been lights out. He hasn't jumped off the field by any means. So unless he jumps off the field like Justin Jefferson did in his rookie campaign, I'm not going to give credit at all to Jamar Chase or the Cincinnati Bengals. So, and of course, right away on Facebook, the Bengals fans have to get defensive. Doug Toby says, you mean like Odell Beckham Jr. bust? Oh, you mean the guy that in his rookie year caught for like 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns? You mean that guy? Like that guy? The Bengals, if Jamar Chase is as good as Odell Beckham Jr., you'll be lucky. You'll be lucky. And Odell Beckham Jr. will have a better season statistically as long as he's healthy. I guarantee it. I promise you. Oh, man. In fact, that's the lock of the season. Odell Beckham Jr.'s numbers, as long as he's healthy, will be better than Jamar Chase. Book it. That's my one guarantee. I'm not even going to lose sleep. I'm not even worried about it. This isn't me pretending to be confident. I promise you this much. That's how confident I am in this take, that Odell Beckham Jr. is better than Jamar Chase, will be better than Jamar Chase, and that the Bengals screwed up by taking Jamar Chase. Simple as that. Cleveland Browns also going to be in action tomorrow, and I can think of no better way to kick off the excitement for the Browns preseason action than, the true American. What up, dude? How are you? Welcome. It's been a while.
What up, dude?
How have you been?
Let me start off by saying, had I been with you in the car this morning when you had your little incident, and I think you know me well enough, and Slimmer definitely knows me well enough and know me long enough, we're chasing those punk asses down, and I'm reaching in and grabbing somebody's throat, dude. Yeah. I'm just telling you.
It caught me by surprise.
It's a good thing I wasn't with you, dude.
Yeah. I will tell you what, there was 4 of them and 1 of me. It just wouldn't have been fair. I mean, I could have given them time to grab a couple more people to make it even, but
No, it'd have been fair if I'd been with you, because they're punk-ass Bengals fans. That's all they know how to do, run their mouth. I've dealt with enough of them over the years, dude. Trust me.
They threw an ice cream cone at me, yelled "Hoo Day," and drove off.
Yeah, that's a real manly thing. That's a real manly thing to do. That's a real manly. That's what they are. That's what they succumb to. That's I saw the Dayton paper this morning. One of my customers that I deliver to, and the front page of it. I don't know if it was Chase or whoever. You may have seen it. He's dropping the ball. He's getting hit by a defensive back, and he's dropping the ball. It's a wide receiver. I'm assuming might have been Chase. I didn't read all the paper or whatever, but I just saw the picture. and the guy that I'm delivering to happens to be a Bengals fan. He and I have known each other. We both graduated from Valley View, so years ago. We're always going at each other. I said, "This is your best highlight from camp so far. This guy getting hit and the ball's coming out. Guess what? That's a sign of things to come." But I digress. Let's talk about Ohio's only professional football team, and they preside 222 miles northeast of here. That would be the one and only Cleveland Browns. We'll be watching it tomorrow evening. I do agree with what you said. I listen to you guys on when I'm working during the day. I do agree with what you said about no sense in playing Baker. I wouldn't even play Chubb. I wouldn't play Hunt. Don't need to. I will be watching, though, very intently, watching that defense, because that's where we got to improve. We get an ass-kicking defense to go along with that offense, and ain't no stopping us, and I ain't worried about the Kansas City Chiefs on opening day either. So, but listen, dude, you were talking about people didn't recognize you. People do recognize me when I'm out and about. They know the voice. I've had people come up to me in sports bars, "Hey, you're Steve from Springboro." I said, "Yep, that's me, dude."
True American.
So you have a good weekend, man. Go Browns. Woo!
All right, there he is. The true American, Steve from Springboro. Always a treat, always a treasure when he calls into the show, and you'll be hearing a lot more of him, especially as football season approaches. And there's one thing that drives Bengals fans, it drives you guys nuts. Steve from Springboro, you guys don't like him. He talks a lot of smack. But when he talks a lot of smack and then the Browns back it up, it's even better. It just makes me feel better. Doug Toby's still upset with my take about Jamar Chase. He says, how much money did they spend for this bust to play 4 games a year? Look, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. The OBJ run in Cleveland has not been great. It has not been great. The first year you have Freddie Kitchens as a head coach. And if you think I'm making excuses, then that's just a lazy way from really taking the time to actually look at the foundation of what really happened. Freddie Kitchens was the problem. Freddie Kitchens was the problem. I mean, you heard the interview with Jarvis Landry that came out and said that Freddie Kitchens, they always had the first 3 drives of the game, scripted. They knew exactly what they were going to do, which is why Cleveland always looked sharp in games early on, and then they got worse as the game went on because Freddie Kitchens couldn't make adjustments. He all of a sudden forgot how to call plays. It just became a scrambled mess. That team was dysfunctional. The second year, actually, I'm not even going to badmouth OBJ that much. OBJ was actually very solid. OBJ was really good. He was scoring. He was finding ways to be a part of the offense. It wasn't smooth between him and Baker, but I believe that year 3, OBJ's healthy, full regular offseason, second year in the same offense. I mean, people forget. You guys are acting. I mean, I know that your coach is bad, and at least Burrow has had the same bad coach 2 years in a row, but I mean, it was coaching carousel in the first 3 years of Baker's career. OBJ will have a better statistical season than Jamar Chase. Book it. It was the wrong pick at number 5. Book it. There were just as good of receivers, maybe not like Bateman and stuff weren't better than Jamar Chase, but you could have got just as productive of a wide receiver later in the draft. I promise. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it's got. I would say Bateman. He's already hurt, of course, the receiver out of Minnesota, but he also has Lamar as a quarterback, so I wouldn't put him up there. But there will be the number 1 receiver. I don't know who. I'm just willing to pick the field against Jamar Chase. The rookie field against Jamar Chase, I'm going with the field when it comes to a wide receiver out of this rookie class that'll have a better statistical year than Jamar Chase. Not an opinion. It's a promise. That's going to happen. Just like OBJ will have a better statistical season as far as that goes. It's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Orion Sports Medicine. We'll step away for a few moments. Talk a little Cincinnati Reds coming up. We'll have a little Buckeye conversation as well. Don't go anywhere. Plus, we'll take more of your calls, 518-1410. It's the Justin Kinner Show here on a Friday.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Grammy award-winning folk band Old Crow Medicine Show and guitar-picking prodigy Molly Tuttle together live. 2 nights, Friday, August 13th at PNC Pavilion and Saturday, August 14th at Rose Music Center at the Heights. Caroline, you do just fine. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss Old Crow Medicine Show and Molly Tuttle live in Ohio this August.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live or go back and rewatch previous episodes of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, the Keith Byers Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more. Don't miss the ESPN Dayton Glazier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week every Friday night, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and Justin Kinner will have the call all season long. Check out wingam.com for the complete schedule and to stream the games live. WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. We're local. What are you gonna miss? He struck him out. We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, welcome back. Hour 3. It's the Justin Kinner Show, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. The Justin Kinner Show live here on a Friday. I hope everyone has some fun plans lined up for the weekend. Preseason football, the Bengals and the Buccaneers tomorrow, the Browns and the Jaguars. Look, I'm not going to try and hype up preseason football like it's such a big deal, but it is an interest to you in regards to football being on. Like to sit there and act like you don't get any joy. I know there's always those people out there that like to try and be funny. It's preseason, such a joke. Who cares about preseason football? People who love football care about preseason football. I'm not saying they care about the results. All right, I'm not betting on preseason football. I do get a huge kick out of the fact that there's an actual line on these games. But if you want to bet on those, more power to you. That's what's fascinating to me is like, it's one thing to be able to place a line on a game that, like, you know what the rosters look like, you know who's going to be getting the majority of the playing time. You have no idea what's going on with these. I mean, that's what's insane to me is how they formulate, how they come up with the line for these preseason games. More power to them, but they make money off of them, so good for them. Regular season will be here before you know it. Yesterday was the 12th, which means we're a month away from the Browns and the Bengals kicking off the season, so we can officially say we're under that month-long timetable now. But what's interesting to me, so the Cincinnati Bengals open up at home on the 12th against the Minnesota Vikings, and the Browns open up on the road at Kansas City. And that seems like far off in the distance, but I'm just glad that we're finally at the point where we're going to be talking about this. But I'm looking at the Cincinnati Bengals schedule. With what we know from camp right now, where are you at when you look at the first 4 games? Minnesota, then the Bengals hit the road for 2 at Chicago, at Pittsburgh, before returning home against Jacksonville on September 30th. So when you look at those first 4 games for the Bengals, I went through the schedule at the beginning when the schedule first came out. Of course, we jumped all over it. We couldn't wait to start marking where we saw some of these wins and where we saw some of these losses. I remember doing this conversation earlier, by the way. And again, this isn't me hating on the Bengals. And I know that's like one of those things where when people say no offense, but pretty much guaranteed no matter what they say after no offense, but it's going to be offensive. Minnesota, Jacksonville, Green Bay, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Chargers, Niners, Kansas City, and Baltimore again. Of course, your division opponents you play twice. My hot take back when the schedule came out a few months ago was that the Bengals would get 1 win at home. 1 win at home. And I don't think I'm that crazy. I don't think they're beating Minnesota. That defense right now, I'm not convinced is going to be able to stop Minnesota's offense. I know they're improved, but being improved from one of the worst defenses in the league, it just means that, oh man, like it's like me telling you, hey, I got taller, guys. I'm 5'8" instead of 5'7" now. Like, I'm not tall. I got taller, but I'm not tall. Did the defense get better? And they got better, but they're not good. So when Kinner says, man, I got taller, I'm getting taller. I'm 5'8" instead of 5'7". I'm not tall. It just means I got taller. The Bengals defense, they improved, but they're not good. You stop in Justin Jefferson, you stop in Thielen, you stop in Dalvin Cook. Where's the stops coming from? I don't see it happening as far as I'm concerned. Jacksonville's the win. If they get a win, it'll be against Jacksonville on the 30th, which I'm actually really excited for that game, going to that game. That's going to be the night that they, of course, induct the inaugural Ring of Honor, which I think is really cool. I'm a big fan of that. Finally, it took long enough, but the Bengals are finally acknowledging the history of the organization and kind of getting some pride built up around the past and the history of the great organization that is the Bengals. Not a great run right now, but it is what it is. I'm looking forward to that night. But I'm being serious here. Where are the wins at home coming from? Are you better than Minnesota? No. These are just the home games. Jacksonville, yes, that's a win. You're not beating Aaron Rodgers and the Packers at home. You got Cleveland. Say what you want about Cleveland, but Cleveland is being put right up there with the Kansas City Chiefs and the top teams in the NFL. If you are not going to say that your team could beat the Kansas City Chiefs, what makes you think you could beat the Cleveland Browns? The Browns are as loaded as the Chiefs. And you're probably saying, but they're not as loaded as you for saying that. Maybe, just maybe. But I heard Greeny talk about it on his show earlier, talking about the Cleveland Browns, talking about Odell Beckham Jr. and Baker Mayfield, and saying that the missing link, that the one connection, the one improvement that the Browns can make to take them from being a very, very good team, talented roster, to being a Super Bowl, lock, or maybe not so much a lock, but a contender, is the relationship between OBJ and Baker Mayfield. That's going to be the secret right there as far as what takes them to that next level. I don't know about that. The one thing about Baker Mayfield and that offense, it was one of the most explosive offenses in the league last year, and it was without OBJ. OBJ, if they click, it's going to take them to that next level. But I'm not going to say that the only way that they're going to be in position to win a Super Bowl is OBJ and him clicking. The Browns could win without him. Now they're trying to find out if they can win with him and win at a much higher level. But I don't see Cincinnati beating Cleveland. Their best chance of beating Cleveland, I guess, technically would be at Paul Brown Stadium. But again, if the offense is struggling, you just heard from James Rapine. That offensive line, Suafilo has not stepped up to be able to take advantage of that opportunity there, him being a veteran, which is why Michael Jordan is there, Jackson Carman there, but no one has really stepped up. Quentin Spain, it's okay, solid, not great. But can the Bengals afford to have a solid, not great offensive line against the Steelers pass rush, against the Ravens pass rush, against the Browns pass rush? I don't think so. They're not getting a win there. So how about the Steelers? Maybe though, the Bengals beat Pittsburgh last year at Pittsburgh, which was pretty crazy to me. You have Pittsburgh at home. If Big Ben's healthy, the one reason I can maybe go for the Bengals getting a win over the Steelers at home is the fact that it is late in the season. It's in November. It's week 12. Week 12 is around the time that the Steelers started to unravel last year. I actually see the Steelers getting out to a hot start. I think that the Steelers team is going to jump out to a hot start. I think they have enough to be very, very good. They're going to win a lot of games early. I do not anticipate an 11-0 start like last year, but they're going to win a lot of games. Big Ben is in better shape, whatever that means, every year. That's the one thing. August is National Big Ben's in the best shape he's ever been in month. Like, it's every month they say the same thing, but he does look to be in better shape. I actually think their backup is actually a lot better. I think Dwayne Haskins looked sharp last night. Again, what that means in a preseason game, going up against the twos, the bottom line is he looked the part. He was big, he's accurate, steps into his throw, steps into the pocket, connects down the field. Not all of them are these little short out routes. He's making plays with his arm. I think that the Steelers are in good shape. I think that they've addressed the run game. The offensive line is not solid. That's one of their biggest weaknesses offensively, but they still have a lot of weapons, receivers, now a good running back. You still have one of the best quarterbacks of all time in Big Ben, who, say what you want, I know didn't play great towards the tail end of last year, but statistically was one of the best quarterbacks in the league last year. You can't deny that. And I think he's going to be better this year, mainly because of the fact that they are not going to have to require him to throw as much. That's why they went out and they drafted the running back from Alabama. That's what the big goal is to be able to not shift towards a run game only, but try to balance the run and the pass a little bit more, because they were 90% pass, 10% run last year. If they can get that to 60-40 pass run, ideally you want 50-50 with a quarterback his age. I don't know if it's fair to expect, especially with the offensive line being a little iffy. I don't think they're going to be able or be good enough to get that to 50-50 or even 55-45 or what have you. I think it's going to be about 60-40 pass game to run game. Pittsburgh's still going to be good. The Bengals' best chance of beating Pittsburgh is going to most likely be when they play them at home. When they play them at home on the 28th of November, that's about the time last year where the Steelers started to fumble a bit, where they started to slow down, and that's when we started to notice the difference in Pittsburgh. Temperatures getting colder out. I know it's Pittsburgh. They're used to playing in the cold, but the bottom line is that's around the time they started slumping last year. But the Bengals aren't beating the Chargers. Joe Burrow, good quarterback. Justin Herbert is a great quarterback, and that's going to be a win for the Chargers. And then the Niners. Health is everything, especially with Jimmy Garoppolo. And that's the thing. I don't like getting into the whole healthy versus not healthy debate because that you could say that about the best teams. The Chiefs are only as good as a healthy Patrick Mahomes. Like, I know there's certain teams who have a history of injuries, and the Niners are one of those, especially with their quarterback in Garoppolo. Garoppolo has a history of injuries going back to his time with the Patriots. But the bottom line is I'm not going to sit here and play that game because injuries can impact every one of these matchups one way or another. So the Niners, constructed as is, are better than the Bengals. They're beating the Bengals that week. They're not beating them at home. Baltimore, they're not beating Baltimore. Kansas City, you're not beating Kansas City. The point is where are the wins at home coming from? Because that's where you like to feel more comfortable is at home. And I just don't see it. Maybe they split with Cleveland. Not happening. Maybe, but it's not. Like, they're not beating Cleveland. They're not beating Pittsburgh. They're not beating the Chargers or the Niners. You're not beating Baltimore or the Kansas City Chiefs. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers in week 5. Where are the wins at home coming from? That's all I need to. That's what I'm asking. That's what I want to know. I'm not just coming out with this drastic hot take of, man, they're not going to be good at home. It's not going to be a matter of home field advantage versus not home field advantage. It's the level of competition you have at home versus on the road is pretty interesting. Here's your road schedule. I mean, the Bengals wins are coming on the road. As weird as this is, it's a very weird schedule. Their harder games are at home, which I can give you this. The fact that the harder games being on the road, like if I inverted this, if I reversed this, if I was to say that the Bengals are playing at Kansas City, that they're playing at San Francisco, that they are playing at Green Bay, that they are playing at Minnesota, and even at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going to be that fan base is going to be jacked up. They're excited. They're excited about the Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer era. So that's going to be a tough place to play. If you reverse the schedule for the Bengals and their home teams were who they were playing on the road, you would not feel good about that. You would not pick the Bengals over Minnesota at Minnesota. Maybe you would because you're delusional, but it would be a bad pick. No one in their right mind would pick the Bengals over the Packers at Lambeau, and I'm definitely not picking them at Paul Brown either. The Chargers, you're not picking the Bengals over the Chargers at LA. You're not picking the Bengals over the Niners at San Francisco, and you're definitely not picking the Bengals over the Kansas City Chiefs at Kansas City. So for you to sit there and say I'm crazy for this take, I just listed all the home teams that they're playing, that if you were playing them on the road, you would not give them a chance. So I don't think it's that crazy of me to say that I don't think that the Bengals have closed the gap on the Vikings or the Packers or the Chargers and the Niners. I just don't. The Chargers got drastically better this offseason. The Bengals added some big names, but the big names replaced the big names that they lost. They slightly improved at corner. Hilton was a great addition. Like, by getting Hilton and Awuzie together, I like that. That's solid, especially with Bates. Okay, like that's strong. But it's not like you didn't have some of those pieces last year too. Like, Awuzie's not great. Awuzie's not going to come in and light it up. Awuzie was the Cowboys lost with Awuzie. The Cowboys had a historically bad defense with Awuzie. So, and it's not as if he's a game changer, I just don't see that being a big game changer. I think all the Bengals wins, I'd say 90% of the Bengals wins are going to come on the road. Here's your road schedule for the Bengals. At the Bears, you're at Chicago in week 2. good opportunity to possibly pick up a win there, even though that defense is really good. I still think that there's going to be some continuity issues with that offense. I don't even know who the starter is going to be. It could be the Bengals going up against their old quarterback and Andy Dalton in week 2, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Buckeyes' Justin Fields was the starter for game 2. So a rookie quarterback on the road, a coach coaching for his job, guys trying to prove themselves, like that could be an interesting week 2 matchup. And at least you're playing Chicago at Chicago in August or in September. So you're playing the Bears in week 2, where there's going to be some tension in the locker room of who the quarterback should be. Because if Justin Fields has a bad week 1, there's going to be like, oh, maybe we should have rolled with Andy Dalton to start the season. Or if Andy Dalton's the starter to start the season, then there's going to be maybe we should go to Justin Fields in week 2. It's going to be tough. It is going to be tough it's going to be a much easier game at Chicago because there's going to be a lot of things that the Bears are dealing with mentally and roster wise. That's a win. You're at Pittsburgh in week 3. I don't think you're going to get a win at Pittsburgh, especially because you're at Pittsburgh week 3. I think Pittsburgh's going to be super strong to start the season. I think they get weak as the season goes on. I think we're going to see something similar from the Steelers that we did last year. Strong to start, weaker as the season goes on. You're lucky that there's an opportunity to play Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh early in the season. That's the unfortunate part. I'm sorry that you have to play Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh early in the year, but luckily you have Pittsburgh at home late. But, maybe a win there. So you have Jacksonville, Green Bay at home. But Detroit, you're at Detroit. That's a win. You're at Chicago. That's a win. You're at Baltimore. That's tough. You're at the Jets. That's a win. You're at the Raiders. That's a tough one, but I'm going to give the advantage to the Bengals. I think that the Bengals, by the way, I think people just always want an excuse to go to Vegas, but I can't tell you how many Bengals fans I know that have already told me that they already got their ticket. They're going to Vegas, baby. So there you go. At Denver, by December 19th, late in the season, Denver, that's a win for the Bengals. The Bengals are winning at Denver. You're winning at the Raiders. You're winning at the Jets. You're winning at the Lions. I think between the Bears and Pittsburgh, I think that you win one of those. So that's 5 wins right there, all on the road. That's 5 wins on the road. I don't know where the wins at home are coming from outside of Jacksonville. You're not beating Minnesota week 1. You're not beating Green Bay. You're not beating Cleveland. You probably are beating Pittsburgh. So that's 7. That's 7 wins. I got you at 7. You're not beating the Chargers. You're not beating the Niners. You're not beating Baltimore. And you damn sure aren't beating the Kansas City. The Bengals are a 7-win team. They're going to win 2 games at home. They're going to probably beat Pittsburgh in week 12. They're going to beat Jacksonville, but you're not beating Minnesota, not beating Green Bay, not beating Cleveland or the Chargers, the Niners, or the Kansas City Chiefs, or the Baltimore Ravens. And that's not a hot take. It's common sense. Look at these teams. Look at yours. It's not happening. It's just not. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. 518-1410. Social media, Twitter at 1410 Kinner. Plus, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Take your calls, your social media reaction on the other side. We'll get to some of that James Rapine and the Kirk Herbstreit conversation coming up. Take a look at the Browns schedule as well. Where are their wins kind of hiding? Where are their losses hiding when it's all said and done? Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 90. Tonight will be mostly cloudy, also with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a low near 63. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 82. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly.
Syntec is back and better than ever at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec is a premium full synthetic motor oil at an affordable price. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec full synthetic and a Wix filter for just $31.99. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. Minimize friction, heat, and wear on your engine with Syntec full synthetic motor oil exclusively at
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Service Manager, Germain Honda of Beaver Creek. When you need service, we're here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays from 6 to 8 and Saturdays from 7 to 5. We proudly offer a state-of-the-art facility with factory-trained technicians, clean waiting room, and service department. Loaner cars are available during service and free alignment checks with any service. Be sure to stop in and ask for our $39.95 oil change special. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, State Route 35, east of 675, between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. Dutch Boy DuraClean exterior paint and primer in ones, durable weather-resistant coating stays clean and keeps your home looking beautiful. A gallon of flat paint is $29.79 after 11% rebate. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through August 14th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Over the last year and a half, we all learned some hard lessons. One of the most important is that you can't put off the inevitable. Hi, this is Mark Davis at Dayton Memorial Park Cemetery and Mausoleums. No matter how hard it is to think about, we all need a final resting place. When pre-planning with your funeral home, please remember that cemetery arrangements must also be made. Call us today at 937-890-1831 or visit our website at DaytonMemorialPark.com. And remember, Dayton Memorial Park is a beautiful place to celebrate life.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. To find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Parents, do you want your child's shoes to fit perfectly? Then you need to get your kids Skechers Stretch Fit shoes, because Skechers Stretch Fit shoes are so comfortable and so stretchy, they easily slip on and fit almost like a sock. Your child is constantly moving and constantly growing, so they need a shoe that moves with them. And Skechers Stretch Fit's soft, stretchable material contours to their busy feet. It's a perfect fit. And not only do they fit like a dream, they perform like one too. Skechers Stretch Fit keeps your child's feet comfortable all day long. With Skechers' exclusive air-cooled memory foam and a breathable stretch fit knit, your child will be cool and comfy whether playing, studying, or just hanging out. Plus, you'll love just how durable they are. Stretch Fit is designed to take everything your child can throw at them, and if they get dirty, just pop them in the washing machine. It's that easy. Give your kids perfect comfort that adjusts to them with Skechers Stretch Fit shoes. Find them at a Skechers store near you, Skechers.com, or wherever kids' shoes are sold.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
A week from tonight, College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and myself will be live at Centerville High School, bringing you another season of the ESPN Dayton Glacier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week. The Fairfield Indians at the Centerville Elks. Week 1 of the high school football season is officially here. And I can't tell you how excited I am about that. To be back in the booth, back in the press box, bringing you high school football again right here on 1410 Wing AM, and to do it with the College Football Hall of Famer himself, Keith Byers. Really excited about the upcoming season, and I can't believe it's already here. Ohio State kicks off the season in just a few weeks. September 12th, the NFL kicks off officially, or at least the Browns and the Bengals officially kick off. Talking about the schedule, of course, taking a look, and I said, look, I don't really want to bore everyone with going down where I think all, go win, loss, but I started looking at the schedule, and it's a very unique one. It's tough when you are a young team to win on the road, but I do think that 90% of the Bengals wins this year will come on the road. I don't think they're going to win a lot at home, mainly because it's not that I think that the Bengals are horrible. I just think that the teams that they are playing are elite. And there's not, outside of Jacksonville, there's not an easy home game on the schedule. And I get this from Aaron. I don't get his Twitter name. Aaron, I think you're a good dude. I just think your Twitter name is very strange. I'm not going to go there with you. But Aaron on Twitter says, why? So let me reset here. So looking at the Bengals schedule, basically, these are their home opponents. Green Bay, the Browns, of course, your Pittsburgh and Ravens, of course, the San Francisco 49ers, the Chargers and Justin Herbert, Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. So you have to play Patrick Mahomes. You have to play Justin Herbert, who's an elite quarterback. He proved it in year one, shattered every rookie record out there. Well, you guys were impressed about your quarterback throwing for, a lot of yards here and there. Justin Herbert was doing that and then some. He was lights out last year. So you have to play Patrick Mahomes. You have to play Lamar Jackson at home. You have to play the San Francisco 49ers at home, which as a team, they're great. I do like their quarterback. Health is going to be, an issue there. But at the end of the day, that team, when he plays, they win. The Niners win games. They were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They weren't last year. The only difference was they didn't have their quarterback. They have their quarterback in Garoppolo this year. They're going to be one of the top teams in the NFC. They're not beating the Niners at home. So you have to play them. The Chargers, as I mentioned. Aaron Rodgers. All right. And so Aaron on Twitter says, why not the Vikings at home? Kirk Cousins, LOL. Come on, man. What are you talking about? You have delusional confidence in your team's ability to be able to stop a quarterback that threw for 4,500 yards last year. Threw for 4,500 yards, has Adam Thielen, has Justin Jefferson, has Dalvin Cook. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Catch up. Learn some football. Pay attention. Kirk Cousins. I don't even like Kirk Cousins, but I'm not going to sit here and deny that the dude could throw the football. He can run an offense. Offensively, that team is a juggernaut. Defensively, you're a knot. The Bengals have historically, over the last 2 or 3, 4 years, been one of the worst defenses in the history of the NFL. As I said earlier, you're not a great defense. You're not even a good defense. You're an improved defense. I'm 5'8". I was 5'7". I got 1 inch taller. I'm not tall, but I got taller. You improved, but you're not good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why people think that just because you improve that makes you good. It just means that you don't suck as bad as last year. That's where the Bengals are at right now. So don't come at me with Kirk Cousins. Really? Come on, man. What have you done to warrant disrespecting a guy that actually could throw the football, stay upright, win a lot of games? They're in the playoffs every year. Come on, man. What do you mean? Like I'm crazy? Don't talk to me like I'm crazy. I'm not saying, that's the one thing I'm not going to put up with. You are not going to talk to me like I'm crazy as if I'm making this up just to hate the Bengals. They are not good. The Vikings are. The Vikings aren't Super Bowl contenders, but they are still quite a few miles ahead of the Cincinnati Bengals. And then he capped it off with, and why can't they beat the Browns at home? Do you want, really? I know the jealousy lives within Bengals fans of what the Browns are doing, but to be delusional. Really? What? Why can't they beat the Browns at home? Why can't they? Are you saying, why? I mean, when I said the Kansas City Chiefs, how come you didn't say that? Oh, because the Kansas City Chiefs are elite. So are the Browns. I know it's painful and it sucks for you guys. It really does. It sucks because it's not just that your team isn't that good. It's that the Browns are elite. That's the two worst things that can happen. It's that your team is bad and that the Browns are elite. It's not that, oh man, we're bad and the Browns are bad and we feel better about ourselves than they do about their. No, it's even worse for you. It's like for those of you who have been divorced and your ex-wife ends up meeting someone better. He's better looking. He's richer, bigger house, better job. They go on vacations all the time and there you are going to your everyday job, miserable, hating life, barely being able to pay the bills. What money you do make goes to her because she has a good lawyer, because her new boyfriend or her new husband paid for it with all his money at his good job. That the money he's not spending on that good lawyer to take all yours. He's taking your ex-wife on vacation to the beach, to Paris, all over. And you're miserable. And that's you, Bengals fans. That's you. You're miserable. You're mad at me because your team is bad. You're mad at me because the Browns are elite and you're not. So, Aaron, don't waste my time with those questions. Don't do that. It's not rocket science as to why the Bengals aren't beating the Browns. You're not. Now, before you waste my time and everyone's time with, it took full 4 quarters for the Browns to beat the Bengals last year, and the Bengals are better than last year. You do know that you couldn't stop Baker Mayfield last year. You made Baker Mayfield look like Patrick Mahomes. All right? And you made Baker Mayfield look like Patrick Mahomes. I thank you for that, okay? I appreciate that. It was a good week for me. But the Browns cannot stop Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a very good quarterback. Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, very good weapons. I can acknowledge that. I can also acknowledge that when if you know anything about football and you pay attention to what the Browns just did, they just drafted Newsome. They go out and they get the safety and the cornerbacks, of course, from the Rams. They loaded up in their secondary. Why did they do that? Oh, yeah. They looked at their needs and they addressed them, and now they're no longer needs. Because that's what a team does. A team doesn't look at needs and say, oh, we really need an offensive lineman. Let's take a wide receiver. No. The Browns, their need last year, because their secondary was horrible. They couldn't stop anybody. That's why they let the freaking Chiefs with their backup quarterback take it. Like, everyone's like, oh, Baker couldn't even beat the backup quarterback for the Chiefs. Baker did his job. Baker marched them down the field and scored. And if he would have got the ball back, would have marched down the field again and scored, because they couldn't stop Baker Mayfield either. But the Chiefs had the ball for 8 minutes. Why? Because the Browns defense was bad. You know what's not bad this year? The Browns defense. It's not that hard to figure out. You're not beating the Browns. And I'm not being a delusional fan. I'm not being a hater. It's just reality. Do better. Bring better stuff than Kirk Cousins, ? Do you even know what his numbers were last year? Do you even know how good that offense is with Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson? If Jamar Chase is even a fraction of what Justin Jefferson was last year, you'll be lucky. Don't do that to me. Don't do that. All right. We'll step away for a few moments. James Rapine from Sports Illustrated. We'll have some takeaways there as the Bengals have their preseason game coming up tomorrow. But again, we'll take your 518-1410. Some calls are coming in. Let's get you guys in line. Get to your reaction next. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Installing brand new carpets shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Enjoy a simplified installation experience at the Home Depot by licensed local professionals with an unbeatable selection of affordable styles, colors, and fabrics that are durable and low maintenance, including options that are odor and stain resistant. And right now, you can get your carpet installed for free. Get started today at the Home Depot. Free carpet installation on purchases of $4.99 or more. No square foot minimum. Excludes in stock styles. U.S. only. See store for details.
Napa know-how.
Right now, a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil is just $18.99. It keeps your engine from breaking down without breaking the bank. Yep, a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic for $18.99 is not just a great deal. It's the break you've been waiting for. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations does not include state local taxes or recycling fees. Advertised sales price may not be available in some states. Offer ends 8/31/21.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Sunday! It's the savings event of the season. Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-a-thon. Your chance to save big by bundling your home and auto insurance. But only this Sunday. Unless you're busy, in which case you can bundle Tuesday. Or if you already have dinner plans, then try Friday. But if the week gets away from you, you can just wait till next Sunday. Because Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-a-thon isn't going anywhere.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce?
Spilled the sauce? Quick, the Quicker Picker-Upper. Bounty picks up spills and messes quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading Ordinary brand.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce? Okay.
Bounty, the Quicker Picker-Upper.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I absolutely love my dog, but the constant shedding, not so much. But then I got a Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, and it is amazing. These super thick cloths pick up a crazy amount of hair. Just look at all that. And that was from just one swipe. And the best part? Sweeper's so much easier to maneuver than a broom or a vacuum, easily getting around chairs and under the couch. You're right. Now I can focus on you, not your shedding. Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, because shed happens.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We'll help you find everything you need to do the job right. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $28.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with a booming voice that emphasizes all the main points. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
That part is super important.
Here's one with a booming voice.
I'm emphasizing everything.
Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance.
Like a page with every word highlighted.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-990-6271 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. That's 800-990-6271.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. O'Reilly.
O'Reilly Auto Parts specializes in keeping your car on the road. Not sure how much life is left in your battery? Our professional parts people will test it for free. If it does need to be replaced, we'll help you find just the right one to fit your car. Our Superstar batteries are built to handle even the toughest conditions. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Greatness. It's not born of coincidence. It's not a product of luck. It's forged through dedication, drills, and the acquisition of new skills. Wanting won't get you there, but sweat equity just might.
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street wants to wish the Dayton Flyers Red Scare the best of luck in their journey through the basketball tournament. Wear red, be loud, go Flyers!
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, liberty, liberty.